You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Well, now on Fox 17 News This Morning, one man is facing homicide charges after the death of his longtime girlfriend. We're going to tell you what investigators have revealed.
And Major League Baseball winter meetings return to Nashville. We'll have all those details shortly.
The forecast getting a little bit warmer going into the weekend, but not quite yet. How much colder we'll get before that warm up in your Code Red forecast.
All right, Greg, thank you so much. And thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News this morning, just after 4 a.m. on this Tuesday. I am Justin McFarland. We're going to begin with a story that we've covered months ago that is now getting some much needed answers. Back in September, the Metro Police Department found the body of Ethel Kennedy in the back seat of a burned car on Glen Rose Avenue at the I-24 overpass. Now 60-year-old Frankie Jones is facing homicide charges. Officers say that he killed Ethel Kennedy, then put her in the car and set it on fire. Fire crews found her remains. Then on Friday, police picked up Frankie Lee Jones in Fairview after a routine traffic stop. We will continue to follow this story and bring you more details as soon as they are released. We're new this morning. All eyes are on Music City as the Major League Baseball winter meetings are returning to the city over to the Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker joins us live here in studio with what's going on this week over there and the potential for MLB and their big future here in Nashville.
A big day for Major League Baseball franchises and their organizations, with lots of talk on the state of the game and also a number of things that happen in regards to trade. Now, Chris Bacon with the Nashville Stars says it's a great opportunity for Music City to be part of it all. He adds that this is a chance for Major League Baseball to see what Nashville is all about, not on paper, but here in person.
There's been discussion about Nashville as being an expansion market. And, while expansion is not expected to be on the table for the meetings, it's still an excellent opportunity for all of Major League Baseball, all the teams and everybody involved with it, to see how great the Nashville market is and why it'd be a logical choice for a franchise.
Now, Bacon is hoping that 2024 will be a next step forward in this regard. Our sports director, Jill Jenick, will be at the Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center later this morning, and we'll have all the updates both on air and on our streaming platforms, so stay tuned with us wherever you watch. For now, live in studio, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Kylie, thank you so much. Let's get to Greg Bowman. Look at your forecast.
That we will. Here we go, 4:03. Let's take a look here on a Tuesday morning. We're watching the radar. Nothing happening right now, but a few showers are possible later on this afternoon. We are warming up, ... later. What I mean by that is later this week. We're not warming up today. We're not warming up tomorrow, but by the time we're done with the week, temperatures back into the 60s, night times back into the 40s and 50s. Weekend storms cannot be ruled out. We've not had a code red day in a long time. Even if these are weak storms, we need the rain so badly, and if it comes down heavily, it could cause some flooding. So we may end up having a code red day on Saturday. We're way too soon to be calling that, but we're going to watch it for you here throughout the rest of this week. So our code red threat level for today and tomorrow and your Thursday and your Friday are all going to be partly cloudy to sunny, but weekend storms is what we're tracking, so we're going to keep that arrow on that side of the screen. Looking right here at lunchtime, 50 degrees at 11 o'clock, 55 degrees at 1, and temperatures almost just like yesterday. There's not much of a change day to day, yesterday to today. We talked about it waking up at the same time on your Monday, and then it will continue for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We actually get a little bit of a dip in temperature for your Thursday, so keep that in mind. Let's take a look at your 7-day forecast and plan this all out for you. Today, 54 degrees later on this afternoon. Right side of your screen, we are in the 30s to right near 40 for everyone. Tomorrow, 48. Then Thursday, 58. We get back to the 60s for Friday. And then Saturday, that's our best chance for a few showers and storms. We're warmer, up near 70 degrees.
Clear traffic at the 4 o'clock hour here at 4:05 this morning. Let's take a quick look at what we're dealing with out here. This is a good look at I-24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway. As you make that drive out there in the Antioch area, as you can see, traffic moving along without any issue. We're doing fine out there so far for you here on this Tuesday morning. If there is anything of concern, we'll be sure to let you know. Coming up here with Steer Clear Traffic live and local with you through 9 o'clock. But right now, we're doing okay. Tennessee's education in the spotlight today as 2024's State of Education in Tennessee report will be released later today. The State Collaborative on Reforming Education, or SCORE, will present its findings. Now, Fox 17 News photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey on the scene there at the state capitol, pointing that camera up there. You can see the state capitol, I believe, has a green tint this morning. SCORE says that in the 2023 report that the rate of college attendance in Tennessee was lower than ever. And the organization says while students are improving from the pandemic problems, children who were already behind were falling back even further. Now, the non-for-profit is hosting a reception there at the Tennessee State Museum this morning, which is over at Metro Center. That event will be live streamed on Zoom at 9 o'clock. One person is dead after a hit-and-run crash in Nashville, but it was not the only pedestrian-involved accident that took place over the past few days. We're going to have the latest update from Metro Police up next. And the Murray County Fire Department makes a daring rescue. We've got an update on what led up to this incident in a few.
These
4:09 is the time here on this Tuesday morning. A deadly weekend for pedestrians in Nashville as the city sees 3 different crashes, 2 of those happening on Saturday night. A 61-year-old man died crossing East Thompson Lane, and a 70-year-old man died while crossing Dr. D.B. Todd Jr. Boulevard. The driver took off on D.B. Todd. A 3rd man died on Sunday night after a hit-and-run crash happened on Nolensville Pike. Police are looking for those 2 drivers who did not stick around. Well, in Operation Holiday Surprise, it leads to a drug indictment arrest in Henderson County. The operation was led by the Drug Investigation Division of the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, the TBI, as well as the Henderson County Sheriff's Office. It began in February of last year, 2022. The roundup led police to find multiple drugs, as well as drug paraphernalia, a vehicle, and over $3,000 in cash. At least 14 people are in custody now thanks to this investigation. It remains active and ongoing. Well, a daring rescue down in Murray County yesterday. First responders had to climb down a 15-foot embankment to free 2 people after a crash on Pulaski Highway. To make things even more difficult, they had to remove trees and tree limbs just to get access to those people who were hurt. Now, the Tennessee Highway Patrol is investigating this 3-car crash.
Taking a look here at 4:11, going into your Code Red forecast, and not a whole lot happening right now. And apparently my camera went out. This is great. This is a good Tuesday morning. Hey, you know, we're all working through it. It's second Monday. Here's the other map. I want to show you some areas where we have some visibility problems here. Nashville on west. You talk about I-40 all the way into the Dickson area, and even Nashville itself. We've had a few fog spots here and there. They're going to pop up, they're going to die down, and then redevelop throughout the morning. So we're going to keep our eyes on this for you. But those are the areas to watch right now. I-65 right along the west of it, through that I-40 corridor. Taking a look at a breezy Tuesday. Yeah, a little bit of wind to kick off the day, but not a ton. So that wind, we wish we would have had it because it would have helped keep out more of that fog. A warm up and storms take us into the weekend. The first potential for severe weather this entire month. Literally the last 4 weeks are possible later on this weekend.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's take a good look at what we're dealing with out near the airport. This is going to be I-40 at Donaldson Pike. As you can see, traffic moving along and out there without any issue. We're doing just fine. Great news. As you make that drive out there near the airport, we know situations near the airport can always be very, Very tricky. Thankfully, though, we're doing fine out there, and that's what we like to see this time of the morning. Greg was showing us low visibility in Dickson. Here we go, Highway 46 out there in Dickson. You can see there is some fog out there, no question about it, as drivers get out and about there. So it's not just going to be on Highway 46 there. It's also going to be along I-40, I-840. Anywhere out there, Dickson, Fairview, Kingston Springs, out there in that area, watch out for it as you get out and about.
U.S. support for Ukraine could soon come to a halt. I'm Atrel Nashar with why Congress can't agree on a path forward.
And with just a very few legislative days left this year, it's crunch time for Congress, hoping to approve the United States aid for Israel as well as Ukraine, while some members of Congress remain divided on how to send that aid.
Thanks.
4:14 is the time. Live look there from our L&C Tower, the Life and Casualty building high above downtown Nashville, taking a look across the Cumberland River over into the south and east part of town. We're off to a crisp, cold start, 36 degrees here in Nashville. Greg Bobus will be along to tell us exactly how high the temperature could get and chances for rain perhaps later in the week. The Biden administration is now weighing in on some of its options following the latest drone and missile attack that happened in the Red Sea. Now, 3 commercial ships came under attack by Yemen's Iran-backed Houthi rebels. This happened over the weekend on Sunday. Officials say that the U.S. warship intervened and shot down 3 drones, according to the National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. The United States is in talks with other countries about a potential maritime task force to try and ensure a safe passage of commercial ships in the Red Sea. Now, Sullivan says that the commercial ships were targeted and had ties to 14 different countries, and notes that the United States does not believe all 3 had ties to Israel. The White House is now issuing a warning to Congress. If they do not take action quickly, the United States will soon run out of ways to help Ukraine fight off the Russian invasion. National correspondent Ultra Al-Nashar reports from Capitol Hill.
We are out of money and nearly out of time. The White House issuing those blunt words to congressional leadership Monday in yet another plea to approve more funds for Ukraine.
A vote against supporting Ukraine is a vote to improve Putin's strategic position. That's just an inescapable reality.
There is enough support in both parties to approve the aid, but Republicans have a condition.
If you want aid to Ukraine, we need to control our southern border. Reform asylum, reform parole is possible to do. Democrats don't want to do it. All Republicans want to do it.
Democrats back President Biden's proposal that includes additional asylum officers, immigration judges, and border agents, and argue what Republicans want would deny protection for vulnerable people without actually improving the border crisis.
Making things even more complicated is the fact that Congress is under another tight deadline to fund the federal government by early next year. And the growing national debt, nearing $34 trillion, puts any new spending under the microscope.
Outside groups, even some members of Congress, calling for a bipartisan fiscal commission to identify ways to pay down the debt. Billionaire hedge fund manager Ray Dalio among those urging policymakers to pay attention to the cost of high interest rates.
The longer term is that we are at a point in which we are borrowing money to pay debt service. And as that happens, and you want to keep spending at the same level, there is the need to get more and more into debt.
Lawmakers have to decide, and soon, if new spending, whether it be for Ukraine, the border, or other security priorities like Israel and Taiwan, is indeed worth the price now to avoid paying for a larger conflict down the road. On Capitol Hill, I'm Atrel Nashar reporting.
4:18 is the time. Let's talk about what's happening outside with your weather. It's cold out there, 30s. To get us started here, Greg Bobus is going to tell us where we're headed.
Yeah, not comfortable. And you can see behind us now, we know that we are right into December.
Yeah.
We are in the holiday season.
Is here.
It is here, and the cold temperatures are here just for now. I'll give you a warm-up for your weekend. I'll also give you a little bit of rain, though. Let's take a look at both of those things here in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast. Right now, downtown, nothing is happening. However, if you get west of I-65, especially along I-40, and Justin showed you just a few minutes ago, a camera from Dickson where we have areas where fog is beginning to settle in. I even saw a little bit driving into work here later today, and we're in Metro Center, so we're just north of downtown Nashville. Not much really downtown necessarily, but the outskirts, we're seeing the fog beginning to develop. All clear. In our Code Red threat level, weekend storms are what I'm watching for. I haven't said the word storm and tracking a storm in quite a while, so we'll keep our eyes on that as we get closer to it. We're still a good 5 days out from Saturday, but if anything begins to look a little more significant, we'll make sure you know. Here's the next 3 days. Today, 50s. Tomorrow, cooler, 48, but then warming begins Thursday into Friday, and that will continue into Saturday and Sunday. Our temperatures will stay on the warmer side into and out of the weekend. As of right now, no Code Red weather days, warmer nights by the weekend, and that will be really the emphasis of what we watch going into the weekend.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get out to I-24 Waldron Road. Wow. Look at that. Wide open, beautiful drive this morning. Haven't seen it that wide open in a very long time. That is holiday open out there. We're doing just fine so far. It will not look like this in a couple of hours. It will be packed up bumper to bumper as usual, as we're expecting the normal drive into town this morning. No big problems to tell you about right now, though. Right now, we're doing good. We're green across the board here in the city of Nashville. We're going to show you, not just Nashville, by the way, the surrounding areas. We're going to show you that fog that Greg was just talking about out there in Dickson. That's coming up here in the next few minutes. Well, some progressive lawmakers as well as Democrats are now demanding conditions for aid to Israel. Senator Bernie Sanders is leading the charge in this case. He is now warning that President Biden that any new aid should be met with assurances from Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to limit civilian casualties in its ongoing war in Gaza. Now, this is in the middle of Biden's request for $106 billion in aid for Ukraine and Israel, and as Democrats are continuing to push for a permanent ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. Well, the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, is blaming Hamas for the end of that ceasefire, saying that the terror group reined in on the side of the deal, or reneged rather, on their side of the deal. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says more than 15,000 Palestinians have been killed in the fighting over there in the Middle East. Next up, we switch gears to the Tennessee Titans. Their special teams coach no longer with the team, and plays like this are a big reason why. We're going to tell you why the coach made the decision. And Tennessee Tech is shaking things up as they've introduced their brand new head coach. We're going to tell you why he says he's so fired up to be in Cookeville.
Tom.
4:24 is the time here on this Tuesday morning. Well, let's talk about the Tennessee Titans. After Sunday's special teams meltdown against the Colts, the Titans are now on the hunt for a brand new special teams coach. Head coach Mike Vrabel fired Craig Aukerman. This is after the Colts blocked 2 punts and sent Ryan Stonehouse off the field with a season-ending injury. Aukerman started with Mike Vrabel and the Titans back in 2018. He is the first coach that Mike Vrabel has ever fired in the middle of the season.
I thank Craig for what he's done for us, certainly in the time that I've been here. But felt like this was the best thing for the team and for the players moving forward. Most importantly, the players.
Now, Coach Vrabel calls the Stonehouse injury regrettable, but says that he expects the punter will come back stronger and better than ever. By the way, that wasn't even the play where Stonehouse was hurt. We don't want to see the play where Stonehouse was hurt. We do want to know what you think. Do you think Mike Vrabel deserves another season as the Titans head coach? Here's a look at the Twitter poll right now that has 550 votes. 58% of you say yes, 42% of you say no. If you want to weigh in for yourself, you can go to twitter.com. It takes you to the X social media account. You can find us at Fox Nashville, or you can take that phone that you're holding right now in your hand. We know that you are. You can open up the camera, aim it at the screen. It'll take you to our QR code that will take you directly to the poll where you can vote for yourself. While the Titans are making cuts, Tennessee Tech just made a big hire. Tennessee Tech announced that Bobby Wilder will be the Golden Eagles, Tennessee Tech. I know you guys are serious about that. The Golden Eagles' brand new head coach. Wilder previously coached at Old Dominion. Wilder says he's excited by the pride and passion of the team's players and can't wait to get started there in Cookeville.
426, looking at your forecast here, kicking off this morning, and looking ahead to the weekend. I'm going to tell you right now, it's cold getting out the door, even colder than yesterday morning. Right side of your screen, you're going to see 30s and low 40s. You're going to have frost on the windshield. I had to use the windshield wipers a couple of times here, and if you're parked in the shade, even when the sun comes up, that will still be an issue leading through about the 8 o'clock hour. Better mornings, though, for the weekend. A few showers early, finally warmer for the weekend. Justin mentioned scanning a QR code. I got another one for you. I mean, I hope you've already got this. We mention it every morning, but if you don't, here you go. The Code Red Weather app. You can scan the QR code, go to the App Store for, Apple or Google Play. If that's the way you want to get your app, you can get it. It's not free. It's complimentary. You can take it on the go. It'll help you across the entire country.
Clear traffic for you this morning at 427. Quick look here at I-65 at the I-24 junction there on the north side of town. As you can see, traffic moving along there. You can also see some of that fog off in the distance. Check that out. That's sort of a unique view. That fog is going to hang around with us for the next little bit, according to Greg. But right now, out on your roads, we're doing okay. No big problems for you this morning. We'll let you know if or when that changes. Well, it's an ongoing topic of discussion. Coming up, we're going to have continuing coverage about the congestion getting both in and out of Nashville International Airport. Kylie?
And coming up, winter meetings for the Major League Baseball, all happening here in Nashville. All those details shortly.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Be sure to watch your belongings when you're out and about shopping. Local authorities need your help to find a suspect accused of robbing a 74-year-old woman. We're going to tell you more about it.
Waking up this morning, a little bit of fog outside of the metro area, but we definitely have some areas that are a little more on the dense side that could slow you down this morning. We'll track that and look ahead to a cold start to your day here on this Tuesday.
Taking a live look over in West Nashville. That's I-40 at 46th Avenue. A few miles from here, it gets foggy. We're going to try to take you there coming up in the next few minutes. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News this morning. It's a Tuesday morning, December the 5th. Hi, I'm Justin McFarland. Good to be here with you as we get you out the door. We do have continuing coverage of the traffic troubles over at Nashville International Airport. Okay, listen, this video we're showing you is one of the busiest days of the year, but still, traffic can be a struggle out there, and they have made some big changes over there at BNA. The airport has added free short-term parking over there at the main terminal garage to keep people from circling round and round the terminal to pick up passengers. This is after BNA moved the cell phone waiting area 3 miles away instead of right there on the campus property where it was. Now, the BNA spokesperson tells us it's still too early to tell if the short-term parking lot by moving it to the parking garage is helping to reduce traffic. They say it will take several weeks to gather that kind of data. Chantel Muller was dropping off her daughter and family at BNA and says it was easy to spot and much easier than using that cell phone lot.
Before, you used to have to park so far, and then you'd have to drive and, trying to find a spot or whatever. And so this is much better.
Now keep in mind the first 30 minutes of parking are free, and it's $10 if you're there for an hour. You can see all of the stories that impact the airport traffic, including the impact on rideshare drivers. It's all on our website, fox17.com. Just go there right now, search BNA. Well, new this morning, the Major League Baseball winter meetings are back in Nashville. They're all happening off of Riley Parkway there at the Music City Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker joins us live in the studio after speaking with the Nashville Stars to find out where they are as far as trying to bring in a franchise right here to Nashville.
Yeah, this week is really all about those winter meetings in the MLB. But at the same time, Chris Bacon with the Nashville Stars says it's also a great opportunity for us to be part of it all, because this is a chance for Major League Baseball to see what Nashville is all about. Now, this is a very big week in sports. All eyes are on us from across the country, with Major League Baseball franchises and their organizations getting together to talk on the state of the game and a number of things that kind of go with trade. In light of this, Bacon is hoping expansion talks to Nashville could be available down the road, and Bacon would especially like to see that happen in 2024.
It's one thing to see it on paper. You see the stories, you see the reports, but they get to come here. They get to experience it. They get to walk the streets, enjoy what Nashville has to offer. And this is fantastic timing for them to be able to do that. And we're looking forward to having them here this week.
Definitely would be exciting. Now, our sports director, Jill Jelnick, will be at the Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center later this morning for those winter meetings. She'll have any and all updates both on air and on our streaming platforms. For now, live in studio, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Kylie, thank you so much. Could be some big trades worked out right here in Nashville. You never know. Let's talk to Greg. He's got his eye towards the skies in a much different way. Greg, what's going on?
That we do. And Justin, you and I have kind of going back and forth finding cameras that have the fog this morning. Mm-hmm. The areas that are west of 65 and right along I-40 are getting worse. So Dickson, the fog is getting even more dense. So keep that in mind. We don't have any advisories that are out there. But if you are in that area driving into Nashville or out of Nashville, keep it in mind that it has gotten a little bit worse here in the last hour. What I want to also stress is watch out for kids at the bus stop. I mean, this is that time of the year where we get cold temperatures. They're in the 30s. They're in the winter coats. They don't want to be out there to begin with. And then you have the fog. That's where we're going to be here for most of this morning. We'll keep our eyes on it for you throughout this morning on Fox 17 News.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's get a quick look at what we're dealing with there with that fog. That is a look at Highway 46 in Dickson. Where? It's somewhere. It's beneath that layer of fog there at that car dealership there in Dickson, that Chevy GMC right there on Highway 46. So it's not just this location that it looks like this. It's also along 840, I-40, and eventually as that fog begins to drift, I would imagine cameras around the Clarksville area will start to look like this as well. We're going to be checking in that location. But right now, there is no major accidents to tell you about, just something for you to be aware of. If you're getting out and about in Clarksville and Dickson, this could be part of your drive. Well, Metro Police are looking for a woman they say stole an elderly woman's wallet while she was shopping. Come on, y'all. Detectives say that the suspect took the wallet of a 74-year-old woman inside of a Kroger on Gallatin Pike in East Nashville. Then that woman took the stolen wallet and purchased $1,500 worth of gift cards. Police say that the same woman is suspected of committing a similar type of theft back in 2022 at the Nolensville Pike Kroger. If you know anything about this woman, you are asked to call Crime Stoppers. That number is 615-742-7463. Tennessee's education is now in the spotlight today as the 2024 State of Education in Tennessee report card will be issued. The state collaborative on reforming education the organization known as SCORE will present their findings. Now, Fox 17 News photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey is live there at the state capitol. As you can see, it's got a little bit of a green tint, I believe, this morning with the United States flag and the Tennessee state flag flying high on top. SCORE says in their 2023 report that the rate of college attendance in Tennessee is lower than it's ever been. The organization also said while students are improving from the pandemic problems of the past, children who were already falling behind are doing so even further now. The non-for-profit will be hosting a reception at the Tennessee State Museum this morning at 9 o'clock. The event will be live streamed over on Zoom. Well, dozens of people are still missing after an eruption of a volcano in Indonesia. We've got the very latest on the search efforts. And the United States is among 60 countries backing a brand new pledge. We're going to tell you how global leaders plan to make a difference when it comes to the world's climate.
Merry Christmas and
4:40 is the time. The death toll from the volcanic eruption in Indonesia has now risen to 23 people. That's according to officials who raised the tally today. Now, the Indonesian officials said that some of the climbers were so close to the eruption site that their bodies will likely not be found. And bodies have been recovered, are being driven down that mountain there, Mount Morofi there. We will continue to follow that story there. It's a sad one there in Indonesia as we continue to watch that death toll rise. In the meantime, the United States is backing an initiative to try and triple nuclear energy use by 2050. More than 20 countries signed on to this particular initiative. Now, the pledge at the United Nations Climate Summit in Dubai over the weekend, it was part of an effort to reach net zero carbon emissions and limit climate change. Nuclear power does not produce greenhouse gas emissions, but it is criticized by some environmentalists because of its waste. Other major economies are also trying to sign on to the agreement, and they include countries like France, Japan, and the United Kingdom.
4:41, a look at your forecast here. Three big details we'll look at for you throughout this morning. And here's what they are. We're watching the radar. Not anything happening right now, but the afternoon, the potential for rain to move in. Maybe a shower. Can't rule it out. We'll look at it for you. Warming up later. Not later today, later in the week. We'll talk about a Friday into Saturday warm up. And then weekend storms are going to be there for us. It's a possibility. We haven't had a clap of thunder here across Middle Tennessee in quite some time. So it's not necessarily going to be code red weather, but our eyes will be on it. Right now we're looking at Broadway and not much happening here to kick off the morning. Our code red threat level is going to stay in the all clear for right now. We will track those weekend storms. Right side of your screen, current temperatures are in the 30s and 40s on our way to right near 60 degrees later on this afternoon.
Clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's take you to Clarksville. That's where we're seeing that fog up in that direction. This is on Riverside Drive there in Clarksville near 2nd Street. You can see the fog has taken hold in that area, and not just there, but many others across the area as well. We'll be sure to let you know about any problems this causes. But again, if you're waking up this morning in places like Clarksville and Dickson, this is going to be part of your drive. So heads up, it could be a foggy one out there. Well, a bright holiday season for the music legend Brenda Lee. We're going to tell you the reason why she is celebrating this morning.
Alerts, empowers.
Coming up on 4:45 here on this Tuesday morning. Sad story this morning out of the Bahamas. A Boston woman traveling there in the Bahamas was attacked and killed by a shark. Happened yesterday. Now, the 44-year-old woman was paddleboarding with a relative of hers at a beach resort in New Providence when she was bitten while in the water. Officials in the Bahamas say that a resort lifeguard noticed the attack and went into the water on a boat to try and rescue both the man and the woman. The lifeguard performed CPR on the woman, but the efforts were unsuccessful. She suffered injuries to the right side of her body. The woman's identity has not been released. The Supreme Court spent nearly 2 hours yesterday hearing arguments over a controversial settlement. Now, if approved, the deal would provide billions of dollars to fight the opioid crisis. But some members of the Biden administration say the deal doesn't go far enough. Rebecca Castro has the very latest from Washington.
I just don't want to see other families go through what my family has gone through.
Outside the Supreme Court, relatives who lost loved ones from the opioid crisis gathered in protest, many demanding justice for those lost.
We have to hope that the Supreme Court does the right thing.
Inside, the justices grappled with a challenge made by the Biden administration, questioning the legality of OxyContin maker Purdue Pharma's bankruptcy settlement. While nearly 60,000 victims support the deal, others say if approved, it unfairly lets the Sackler family off the hook, shielding them from the possibility of more civil lawsuits.
If this bankruptcy settlement is approved, they are forever shielded, and that's an abuse of the bankruptcy process.
Purdue Pharma's lawyer Monday argued a ruling against the plan would take a wrecking ball to the bankruptcy code.
Creditors and victims will be left with nothing, and lives literally will be lost. Nothing in the code commands that tragic result.
The DOJ maintains the deal would illegally extinguish the rights of people, aiming to sue those who made a fortune selling the prescription pills.
They were guilty of sin. We all know that.
A ruling is expected by early summer, but no matter the outcome, many of the victims' families want the Department of Justice to bring criminal charges against the Sackler family. Outside the Supreme Court, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
Well, let's talk about some entertainment news this morning. Longtime Nashville resident Brenda Lee is rocking her way to #1 yet again as she's breaking several records in the process. Now, the star's classic "Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree" landed #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart for the first time since its debut 65 years ago. The song becomes the oldest song to reach #1, and Lee becomes the oldest person to ever sit atop the Hot 100. The last time she hit #1 was in 1960, making it a 63-year gap between #1s, the longest in chart history. How did this beat Mariah Carey's song this year? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm sure there's still time. All right, let's get to Greg. He's got a look at your forecast here.
Very good question there. And, it's kind of ironic that hits #1 the same week where Macaulay Culkin gets his star on the Walk of Fame.
Maybe they have something to do with each
Maybe
other.
they're kind of in tandem.
I doubt it. Seriously, I bet you this is all social media related. I bet you there's a TikTok or something featuring her song that led people to download it that now led to this. That's my guess. I don't know because I'm not on TikTok, so I have no idea.
I don't even know what it is. I just know that the clock ticks and talks, and I know how to read the numbers.
That's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing. Taking a look here. These are the areas of visibility issues this morning. A few new ones have popped up for us here in the last half hour. You get out toward Gallatin, the Portland area. So we're talking, you go 65 north into southern Kentucky. Dickson, though, still. Clarksville, Hopkinsville. Dickson, it's getting worse. The fog is getting a little bit worse here. Still no advisories for us this morning. Keep that in mind. And I'm going to use the word snow. The bottom line, there is a chance we could see a few flakes, not a big event, not a shutting down the city kind of a thing, but the timing and impacts remain uncertain. They're possible going into the upcoming weekend, Saturday into Sunday, in the Cumberland Plateau, because temperatures will be just cold enough at night. Taking a look here. 54 degrees later on today. Tomorrow a little bit cooler in the upper 40s, and then back to the 50s and 60s for the upcoming weekend.
Steer clear traffic out there this morning. Let's give you a quick look here at what we're facing out there on the roads. This is over on Wilma Rudolph there in the Clarksville area. This is where the heavy fog is coming down. You may look at that and think it's rain. It's not rain. It's just that the fog is so thick and so close to the camera. It's breaking up like that and making you think it could be precipitation. It's not. It's just fog there in Clarksville. So it's heavy, especially this morning. morning, so heads up out there. Again, no accidents to tell you about here so far. It's just the fog that's causing problems. Disgraced former New York Congressman George Santos is now selling videos on Cameo, a website where people can get personalized greetings from celebrities. Now, Santos' Cameo link, which can be accessed from his Twitter profile, describes the Republican as a, quote, former congressional icon and the expelled member of Congress from New York City. If you decide you want to purchase a video message from the infamous politician who was expelled from Congress last week, be prepared to cough up around $200 for a short video. It's there if you need it. There is a shortage of physical therapists right now in the United States. A recent report by the American Physical Therapy Association says some physical therapist practices have a job vacancy rate as high as 17%. The survey found that the pandemic may be partly to blame. Other reasons given are salaries, as well as the need to relocate, work-life balance issues, as well as retirement. Well, looking ahead to this weekend, it's time for hoops instead of football. It's going to be a big weekend of college basketball right here on Fox 17. It starts on Saturday morning at 10:30. 10:30. That is when Purdue takes on Alabama. Then, coming up at 6 p.m., UCLA. They'll take on Villanova. Then that's followed by Notre Dame taking on Marquette. Then on Sunday, if you like a little NFL action, we got you covered with a big NFC West clash as the Seattle Seahawks take on the San Francisco 49ers. That game starts at 3 p.m. Well, he checks out your place every year, so here's your chance to check out his. We're going to tell you how you can stay in Santa's cabin this holiday season. Thanks for waking up with us right here on Fox 17 News this morning. We're your only local news source coming up here with you from 7 until 9. But, you know, we're on the air outside of 7, too. We're on the air every day from 4 until 9. We got your latest news, updates, traffic, and weather headlines. We'll be right back.
Watch Prices in the Classroom.
4:55 is the time. Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Live look there on Lower Broadway. You can see it for yourself, everyone. We're off to a calm start there. Concert last night, Bridgestone Arena. Travis Scott had a big show. They've got more coming up later this week, including the return of the Nashville Predators, all happening at Bridgestone. We're also going to see the beer trucks return later this morning at some point as well. We're going to follow all of that happening downtown coming up in a few. Plus, Greg will tell you about your forecast. Well, get this. This holiday season, you got a chance to hang out in Santa's cabin. Airbnb is behind the retail in northern Finland. Not only do you get a chance to spend time in the cabin, but you can also help sort letters at the Santa's post office. You even get your own elf to help. Airbnb has been offering adventures like this over the past few years, including the Ghostbusters Firehouse and a stay in the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine, if you're into that kind of a thing. Let's go over to Greg Bobus now. He's got to look at your forecast.
Sign me up for all of them, Justin.
I'm sure.
I mean, that is childhood 101 right there. Taking a look here west of Nashville. Just to give you some areas that might be concerned for traffic. We've got Dickson all the way up through Clarksville. Clarksville's getting worse. Hopkinsville, all these areas west of I-65 are seeing the fog continue to develop. I've been talking with the Weather Service, and there are no advisories that are out there this morning. Looking downtown, directly downtown, we don't see any fog, but I know even here in Metro Center, just north of downtown, we're seeing some fog to kick off the morning. Right side of your screen, temperatures are in the 30s and 40s. We're colder than yesterday morning, and what I'm tracking here in your code red threat level is an all clear day, but weekend storms will move in going Saturday into Sunday.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's get a quick look, if we can, over in the Clarksville area. This is going to be on Riverside Drive there in Clarksville. That is where we're dealing with really dense fog out there this morning. So dense you can actually see it there streaming through the camera. So heads up there in Clarksville. We've been watching that fog move in and out of the area throughout the morning. So we'll let you know when it starts to lift. Greg has been watching it on his instruments. We've been watching it on the cameras. We'll let you know when it fully moves out of the area. Well, the Oxford University Press, which publishes the Oxford Dictionary, of course, has chosen its word of the year. And the word of the year, we understand, is a word spelled R-I-Z-Z. Okay? So Riz, we believe, is a popular word with Generation Z, which are folks between the ages of 11 and 26. It is used to prescribe a person's ability to attract or seduce another person, slang for charisma. Do you have any Riz? How's your Riz? Is your Riz game strong? His Riz game was strong. I see other people shaking their heads like, yes, I'm using it correctly. I get it. Do I get it? I'm looking at my younger people in the room. Yes, they say, yeah, I get it. Okay, so Riz apparently is the word of the year according to the Oxford Dictionary. I don't think my Riz game is that strong, but at least I know how to use the word, and that's what's important. I guess that gives me a little bit of Riz. Let's talk about some holiday shopping before I get too far here. Some extra cash could certainly come in handy. Here is your chance to win some by playing our holiday trivia game. I don't think we're going to ask you about Riz during the game, but you can grab your phone and scan the code right there on your screen. You could win a $100 Visa gift card. Just play the holiday trivia game, get the questions right, and you can win that daily prize of a $100 gift card. Daily prize winners are also eligible to win a weekly national prize of $5,000. Again, take that phone, scan the QR code right there on your screen, and then answer the questions, and then you are eligible to win that $100 daily prize, and then that $5,000 national prize could be yours as well. We will be running this contest here for just a few more days here, a few more weeks rather. For complete contest rules, you can go to our website, fox17.com, as our 5 o'clock hour starts right now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Coming up shortly, MLB winter meetings return to Nashville. An exciting week. We'll have all those details shortly.
Cold this morning, and the fog has a lot of charisma. It's got a lot of Riz. We'll talk about that coming up in your forecast in a few minutes.
Yeah, well, that might be the Oxford Dictionary word of the year, but the word of the morning for us, and much more meaningful because it's going to impact your commute, is fog. Look at how foggy it is in this live TDOT camera. And folks, it's even worse in other spots. So we're going to make sure that you can get where you're going on time and avoid any problems out there on the roads. We are glad to be here for you to kick off your Tuesday, December 5th. I'm Jennifer Waddell. Let's get straight to our top story right now. In fact, we have breaking news just into the newsroom right now, coming to us from Coffee County, which is south and east of Nashville. Rescue squad there says their building caught fire overnight, and they've posted pictures of the damage over on their Facebook page. The Rescue Squad is a volunteer organization there that has operated in Coffee County since 1963, and we're taking a look right now. Oh my, these are the pictures that we've just had a chance to look at. You can see significant damage to this volunteer Rescue Squad building, and first responders there this morning responding to that fire. So we're going to monitor the developments here, let you know as we get updates from Coffee County and how they're going to move forward so that they can serve the people there who need them. Keep it here for those updates live through 9. Right now in Operation Crime and Justice, a 60-year-old Nashville man accused of killing his longtime girlfriend and trying to burn her body is now behind bars this morning. This all unfolded in September. Police picked up Frankie Lee Jones in Fairview, though, just yesterday. That's in Williamson County. Officers say he killed Ethel Kennedy, put her in a car, and set it on fire on I-24. Fire crews found her remains. But again, that arrest happening in Williamson County, new from overnight. And new this morning, all eyes on Music City this week as Major League Baseball's winter meetings return to the Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center. And you never know what's going to come out of these winter meetings. So Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker joining us live in studio now with what's going on this week and even potential here for Major League Baseball in Nashville's future.
Yeah, a big day for Major League Baseball franchises and their organizations, with lots of talk on the state of the game and also a number of things that happen in regards to trade. Now, Chris Bacon with the Nashville Star says it's a great opportunity for Music City to be part of it all. He adds that this is a chance for Major League Baseball to see what Nashville is all about, not on paper, but here in person.
There's been discussion about Nashville as being an expansion market. And, while expansion is not expected to be on the table for the meetings, it's still an excellent opportunity for all of Major League Baseball, all the teams and everybody involved with it, to see how great the Nashville market is and why it'd be a logical choice for a franchise.
Now, Bacon is hoping 2024 will be the next step forward in this regard. Now, our sports director, Jill Jelnick, will be at the Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center later this morning. She's going to have all of the updates and everything that's going on there, both on air and on our streaming platforms. For now, live in studio, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
5:03 your time. Yeah, today could be a very, very big day when it comes to free agents, when it comes to MLB, because this is the big day before the Rule 5 draft tomorrow. They got to figure out a lot of things before this wraps up at the Gaylord. Taking a look here, visibility tracker. These are the areas we have to watch carefully, and they've been getting worse the last hour and a half. Hopkinsville, down through Clarksville, all the way through Dickson. It's worst if you get to the west of I-65, right along the I-40 corridor, and you scoot up 24 through the Clarksville area toward Hopkinsville. That's where you're going to see the most fog this morning. And our cameras, they're not lying. You're going to see one in a few minutes. Downtown. Now, Nashville proper, Lower Broadway, not seeing a lot of fog. However, you get even a mile away from downtown, you're going to see some fog there as well. We have no advisories that have been issued, but this is going to slow you down. We've got to be careful. Watch for kids at the bus stops. Everything you can do to be careful here on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah, Greg, in fact, we're seeing the fog pretty thick on our cameras with regards to traffic. So let's check into Steer Clear traffic now. This is a live look from Clarksville. Well, it looks like we might have, did we pause here for a moment? We might have. But this is a camera that is mounted there in Clarksville that we're able to see live. Greg, thank you so much. See if we can get this guy going. And I also just, by the way, checked the cameras. This is just off I-24, even close to Nashville. Greg mentioned you get a couple miles outside of downtown and you're going to see the fog. And thanks to our team in the back for pulling up this camera, because this shows that. This is I-24 at Old Hickory Boulevard. So this is part of that Clarksville commute. So as you're coming down Clarksville, Pleasant View, Jolton, Springfield, just know this morning the fog is thick. I saw it on my way in. Very limited visibility already this morning. So take it slow out there, folks. Don't remember to keep your headlights on low beams. That'll help you see and, of course, help everybody else see you. A big story we're following here on this Tuesday morning as it develops. Tennessee's education will be in the spotlight as the 2024 State of Education in Tennessee report will be released later today. This is a state collaborative that looks at reforming education. They're going to present their findings. Fox 17 News photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey is live over at the state capitol this morning, where we're going to get this report. SCORE is the name of the group putting out this information. They said in the 2023 report that the rate of college attendance in Tennessee was lower than ever. So that's one of the findings we know. And the organization said that while students are improving from pandemic problems, children who were already behind have fallen back even more. So the nonprofit hosting that reception at the Tennessee State Museum this morning at 9 o'clock, just down the road from the Capitol. That event will be live streamed, and we'll be there as well, making sure you are up to date on those developments. And remember, when it comes to that story or anything else, you can always get our latest updates right at your fingertips. You can be in the know by downloading our free Fox 17 app. Scan the QR code that's on your screen right there. It'll take you directly to the link to download it for free. 5:07 is your time right now, and one person has died after a hit-and-run crash in Nashville. But sadly, not the only pedestrian-involved accident that happened over the last couple of days. We're going to get an update on the latest unsettling trend. Plus, the Murray County Fire Department makes a daring rescue. We've got the pictures to show you in minutes.
This Fox 17 this.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Want to get you updated in Operation Crime and Justice right now. It was a deadly weekend for pedestrians in Nashville. We had 3 different crashes in which all 3 pedestrians died. 2 of them happened Saturday night. We had a 61-year-old man who died crossing East Thompson Lane in Nashville, and a 70-year-old man who died crossing Dr. D.B. Todd Jr. Boulevard. The driver on D.B. Todd took off. In the first case where the 61-year-old died, that driver stopped and is not facing charges. Well, then we had another crash Sunday night, a hit and run on Nolensville Pike, and police are looking for the driver who also didn't stick around in that crash. So we have of those 3 deadly pedestrian accidents over the weekend, 2 of them were hit and runs. We're going to be diving deeper into this issue and actually sharing what some folks in Nashville are trying to do to make our streets safer, coming up this morning in our 7 and 8 o'clock hours. A daring rescue in Murray County. First responders have to climb down an embankment to free 2 people after a crash on Pulaski Highway. Take a look at the pictures here, and my goodness, the damage to those cars after they went down that embankment. Now, to make things even more difficult, we understand they had to get trees out of the way and cut out tree limbs just to get to the people who were stranded in those crashed out cars. THP is investigating. We had 3 cars in all involved in that crash there in Murray County. Man.
Good morning. Time right now is 5:11. Taking a look here at our visibility tracker. This shows us where the areas the fog is most dense. Now, maybe your community is not lit up in a color. Well, look at the top left-hand side of your screen. I will tell you why. Because all the areas that have the yellows, oranges, and reds have less than a quarter of a mile of visibility. So we're talking about places like I-40, 840, 24 going up toward the Clarksville and Hopkinsville area. All of these spots, you're going to notice a lot of fog. Jen and I both saw it driving in. From the areas that are not even shaded here on the map, you're going to see the fog. Temperatures right now are also cold. We are in the 30s and low 40s. Only on our way to right near 60 this afternoon. And then a dip in temperature will take us into tomorrow. And I'm tracking rain for the weekend. There's a lot on your table coming up in your Code Red forecast.
Yeah, but the good news here, Greg, at least since you're clear traffic, no crashes right now as a result of the fog. So that's the best news possible. Live look now over by the airport, and you can see the fog is not really settled in by the airport yet. If it were to get real severe, real thick, we could see an impact to flights, but not the case right now. Traffic's looking good. Flights are looking all right. We'll get another check of steer clear traffic in just a few minutes.
U.S. support for Ukraine could soon come to a halt. I'm Atra El-Nashar with why Congress can't agree on a path forward.
With just a few legislative days left this year, it's crunch time for Congress. Trying to approve U.S. and Israel and Ukraine deals. We'll tell you why some members of Congress are still divided on how to spend money.
Hi, I'm Jordan.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. 5:15 is the time. The White House issuing a warning to Congress. If they don't act quickly, the U.S. will run out of ways to help Ukraine fight off Russia's invasion. National correspondent this morning, Atra El-Nashar, reports from Capitol Hill.
We are out of money and nearly out of time. The White House issuing those blunt words to congressional leadership Monday in yet another plea to approve more funds for Ukraine.
A vote against supporting Ukraine is a vote to improve Putin's strategic position. That's just an inescapable reality.
There is enough support in both parties to approve the aid, but Republicans have a condition.
If you want aid to Ukraine, we need to control our southern border. Reform asylum, reform parole is possible to do. Democrats don't want to do it. All Republicans want to do it.
Democrats back President Biden's proposal that includes additional asylum officers, immigration judges, and border agents, and argue what Republicans want would deny protection for vulnerable people without actually improving the border crisis.
Making things even more complicated is the fact that Congress is under another tight deadline to fund the federal government by early next year. And the growing national debt, nearing $34 trillion, puts any new spending under the microscope.
Outside groups, even some members of Congress, calling for a bipartisan fiscal commission to identify ways to pay down the debt. Billionaire hedge fund manager Ray Dalio among those urging policymakers to pay attention to the cost of high interest rates.
The longer term is that we are at a point in which we are borrowing money to pay debt service. And as that happens, and you want to keep spending at the same level, there is the need to get more and more into debt.
Lawmakers have to decide, and soon, if new spending, whether it be for Ukraine, the border, or other security priorities like Israel and Taiwan, is indeed worth the price now to avoid paying for a larger conflict down the road. On Capitol Hill, I'm Atrell Nishar reporting.
And as 2023 closes out, the Republican presidential primary field is shrinking, heading into the fourth GOP debate this week in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The current frontrunner, former President Trump, is skipping again to attend a private fundraiser instead. The stage for this debate will include former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, and entrepreneur Vivek Ramaswamy. The debate takes place tomorrow night. It's 5:18 right now on this Tuesday morning, and a little foggy out there, and it is thick in some spots. We tell you this because it's not your traditional, just a little patch of fog here and there. It is dense, limited visibility in some places.
Very much so. Dickson out through Clarksville, Hopkinsville, you think everywhere west of Nashville and north of I-40.
Springfield, Jolton.
We're seeing it in everywhere, but even driving in here to town. I mean, I have like a 2-mile drive.
And you noticed it.
And I had fog moving in just from right here downtown. So keep that in mind. There are no advisories out there. I keep refreshing all the time and talking to the Weather Service. But just because there's no advisories doesn't mean it's not going to slow you down. We've been showing you cameras all morning of places that are hot spots. The hotter the color, the more dense the fog. The areas that are in red, Dickson on toward the north, are less than a quarter of a mile of visibility. That means if you're at one stoplight and there are 2 stoplights away from you, you're probably not going to see that stoplight. Taking a look going toward Clarksville, and then up toward Hopkinsville, this has only been getting more and more dense. Until we get the sun to come out, we're not going to see much relief when it comes to the fog. Keep that in mind. Here we go. Our Broadway camera, not much happening. Immediate downtown never sees the most dense of the fog, but again, a mile or 2 away, you do start working into it. Our arrow right now is in the all clear. Weekend storms. That's what I'm tracking for you coming up in a few minutes, and we'll look at your 7-day forecast.
All right, everyone. Steer clear traffic takes us down to Cadiz, Kentucky this morning. They're also part of the fog as we are looking in their downtown square. Now, listen, here in Cadiz, it's nowhere near as dense as we've seen in other areas like Dickson or Clarksville, but we do want to let you know that the fog is there in Cadiz as well. So just heads up on that. We'll check in on other places like Hopkinsville coming up a little bit later just to see what the fog is like there. Here is I-40 at Dallas and Pike back here in Nashville towards the airport. We're doing okay so far out there this morning. We'll let you know exactly what happens out there as far as that fog is concerned. We continue to follow it, especially in places north and west of Nashville.
5:20 right now, and we have some progressive lawmakers and Democrats who are demanding conditions on any more money that is going to Israel. Senator Bernie Sanders is leading this charge. He's warning President Biden that any new aid should be met with assurances from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to limit civilian casualties in the ongoing war in Gaza against Hamas. This as Mr. Biden's request for $106 billion in aid for Ukraine and Israel is trying to push through, but Democrats are pushing for a permanent ceasefire at the same time. Secretary of State Antony Blinken blaming Hamas for the end of that ceasefire, saying that terror group basically went back on its side of the deal. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza says more than 15,000 Palestinians have been killed in the fighting. Back here at home, Metro Nashville Police asking the city of Nashville for millions of dollars for new tasers. But some Metro Council members have questions about that price tag. Justin McFarland going to dive in and work to sort it all out here in minutes.
Car wreck? Get Hughes and
5:23 is the time. Metro Police say they need 1,658 brand new tasers. And they just can't go on Amazon to find these tasers. They have to come along with the ability to have technical support and even upgrades, a lot like cell phones. And that can get expensive. How expensive? Well, it's being laid out this way.
So if I've done the math right, which I don't always do, but 1,658 tasers at $24 million is roughly $14,500 per taser.
I'm not sure that would be the right math.
Because this is a mixture of essentially hardware and software, so products and services, we price this out on a per user basis. So the current agreement right now is priced out at $70 per user per month. The difference in cost for the amendment would actually increase that to $91.88 a month.
So it depends on how you look at it. It's either $14,000 a taser, or if you break it down by users, just $91.88 a month. Either way it goes. The full Metro Council will be taking this up a little bit later tonight. Also, either way it goes, Metro Police say they absolutely have to have these tasers because the ones they have are out of date at this point.
5:25, a look at your code red forecast. The big story this morning is the fog that is out there, especially west of I-65 and north of I-40. We're talking areas not just in Middle Tennessee, but all the way up into southern Kentucky, where we are seeing some visibility problems. I want to work you through the next couple of days right now, and then we'll continue to track that fog for you. Today, we're going to be in the 50s. Tomorrow, cooler, 48 degrees. A pop-up shower cannot be ruled out this afternoon that we'll look at on Future Track. We're going to get a new look at Future Track coming up in a few minutes. But the next couple of days are going to get a little warmer day by day. We'll get back into the 60s by the end of the weekend. However, that will also bring our next chance for some rain. Best chance for rain is going to be Saturday into Sunday. Will it be a washout? No. Let's take a look at the current version of Future Track. Yeah, there's that potential isolated, very light rain shower for the afternoon. If that changes, we'll let you know. Just know that your upcoming weekend, better mornings in the 40s and 50s, not quite as cold, but better chance for some showers and maybe even a thunderstorm for your Saturday.
Steer clear traffic as you get out the door this morning. Let's get a quick look here at what we're dealing with in Clarksville. All right, everyone, this is going to be Wilma Rudolph Boulevard out there in Clarksville, and it is covered up with fog out there in that area. It can be very heavy and dense like this at times. It can also be a little bit lighter than this depending on where you are. Just be advised, it could be a foggy morning for your drive up there, not just in Clarksville, but in other areas north and west of Nashville as well. Back here in the city, though, we're doing a lot better. This is 24, I-24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway as you make that drive out there towards the Tanger outlets. We're doing fine out there. No major tie-ups here in the city, at least not yet. We'll be here to keep an eye on it for you with Steer Clear Traffic Live through 9. We'll be sure to watch your belongings when you're out there shopping. Local authorities need your help to find a suspect accused of robbing a 74-year-old woman.
And a big week for Major League Baseball, and all that is happening right here in Nashville. All those details shortly.
DirecTV Sports Central.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Back to Fox 17 News This Morning. It's an ongoing topic of discussion here in Nashville. Continuing coverage this morning about the congestion getting in and out of the Nashville airport, and efforts underway now to try to improve it.
And you're not going to see it on these two cameras, but we have some fog this morning that's going to slow you down. It just depends where you live. We're going to track it for you, show you some cameras that have some very dense fog to kick off your Tuesday morning.
Here is one of those cameras in Clarksville out there for you this morning. Yeah, that's Wilma Rudolph out there. We're going to tell you how much longer it could stick around with your steer clear traffic and code red weather coming up in a few.
Yeah, that's the kind of fog that will impact your drive. So keep it here. We'll help you get through it. We'll be here together for you. Thanks for joining us for Fox 17 News this morning. I'm Jennifer Waddell. It's 5:30 right now. Getting to the breaking news just in the last 30 minutes. The Coffee County Rescue Squad says their building caught fire overnight, and pictures of the damage have been posted on Facebook. That's what we're sharing with you here right behind me. We can see the outside of the building. Fire crews trying to cut a hole through one of those doors to get in. And then once they did, a lot of smoke and a lot of damage. Look at all of the what looks like insulation perhaps that had burned in the top there of that building. So much damage. This is a volunteer organization that has operated in Coffee County since 1963. How might this impact their ability to respond in the event of an emergency? Well, that's one of the stories that we'll be following up on as we go live through 9 a.m. So stick here for those updates. And continuing coverage now of traffic troubles at Nashville International Airport. After months of long lines and increased congestion, B&A leaders made some changes. We first told you about this last week. We went out there, checked it out for ourselves. The airport added free short-term spots in the main terminal garages 1 and 2 to keep people from circling the terminal nonstop trying to pick people up. The reason they were doing that is because B&A moved the cell phone waiting area more than 3 miles from the airport. And that the cell phone waiting lot is where you could just sit and hang out and wait for somebody to text you or call you that they've arrived. A B&A spokesperson telling Fox 17 News they feel like it's still too early to tell whether this new short-term parking lot is helping reduce traffic. They say it's going to take weeks to gather that data. Chantel Muller, though, was dropping off her daughter and family at B&A and says it was pretty easy to see the signs for that free parking.
Before, you used to have to park so far, and then you'd have to drive and, trying to find a spot or whatever. And so this is much better.
I was at the airport Sunday, and it seemed to me like things had eased up a little bit when I was dropping off somebody at the airport. So first 30 minutes, just as a reminder for you, first 30 minutes of parking are now free in garages 1 and 2, and it's $10 if you park there for an hour. New this morning, the Major League Baseball winter meetings are back here in Nashville. And in Music City, they're at the Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker joining us live in studio after speaking with the Nashville Stars. The group tried to bring Major League Baseball to Nashville to find out where we stand on that effort. Good morning.
Good morning, Jen. Now, this was really a week about those winter meetings and the MLB. But at the same time, Chris Bacon with the Nashville Stars says it's also a great opportunity for Music City to be part of it all, because this is a chance for Major League Baseball to see what Nashville is all about. Now, this is a very big week in sports. Lots of eyes on this from across the country, with Major League Baseball franchises and their organizations getting together to talk on the state of the game, and also a number of trades, a number of things that could happen in regards to trades. In light of this, Bacon is hoping expansion talks to Nashville could be available down the road. He'd especially like to see that happen in 2024.
It's one thing to see it on paper, you see the stories, you see the reports, but they get to come here, they get to experience it, they get to walk the streets, enjoy what Nashville has to offer. And this is fantastic timing for them to be able to do that. And we're looking forward to having them here this week.
Now, Sports Director Jill Jelnick will be at the Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center later today. She will have all of the updates and everything that's going on there. Lots of fun, both on air and on our streaming platforms. For now, live in studio, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
And here we are, 5:34. The big story this morning is what it's going to look like just trying to get out the door. Here is current visibility tracker. And to not overwhelm you, if it's a hot color, you think orange, red, more fog. That's how we are. West of 65, north of I-40, going through Dickson, Clarksville, up through Hopkinsville. That's where we're seeing most of it. I'm going to give you a little bit of a just look back to the last 2 hours and how things have evolved. And you can see you can't track fog. It pops up, it takes over the atmosphere, it takes in all the moisture, and then it gives you what you've got, and then it goes away. Now, we're not going to see a big decrease in this until we get to sunrise, and we're still over an hour away from that now that we are done with daylight saving time. Take a look right now. Downtown, you can't notice it, but if you get just out in the outskirts of metro area, you're going to notice that fog. Right side of your screen, current temperatures are in the 30s and 40s. Just please be very careful trying to get out the door. Justin, what are you seeing here this morning?
Two things we're following. Let's start here. This is going to be Briley Parkway at Centennial Boulevard over in West Nashville. Police and TDOT have described this as police activity. Okay? Police activity. Now, it doesn't mean there's not a wreck here, but typically when they say police activity, it normally means they pulled over a car that didn't want to stop versus a traffic accident or something like that, or a disabled vehicle. So unsure exactly what's happening here, but authorities are on the scene. One lane shut down there as you make that drive across West Nashville. Just heads up in that particular area. So authorities seem to have it well in hand, though, causing minor delays at best right now. So no need to steer clear. Just give yourself 5 minutes. Really, it's not that big of a deal. Let me show you what's going on, though, out on the foggy areas in Hopkinsville. This is I-24 in the Hopkinsville area. You can see for yourself the fog has really swallowed up that entire area north and west of downtown Nashville here. Hopkinsville, Clarksville, Dickson, the Cadies, Oak Grove, that whole area there is going to look a lot like this in certain pockets especially, and it can be heavier at times than others. No major crashes to tell you about, but visibility is low. Make sure that you are giving yourself plenty of stopping distance because you never know what's right in front of you.
Justin, thank you very much. Operation Crime and Justice right now. Metro Police are looking for a woman who they say stole an elderly woman's wallet while she was shopping. Detectives say the person took the 74-year-old woman's wallet while she was at the Kroger on Gallatin Pike and then bought more than $1,500 worth of gift cards. Police say this same woman is suspected of committing a similar theft last year at the Nolensville Pike Kroger. So we've got several shots here. You can see she's wearing scrubs in both videos and wearing what looks to be maybe some kind of work vest. There's a pink scrub, black long sleeves underneath, and then there's the blue scrubs with pink underneath. She's got longer hair, wearing a mask. Looks to be carrying a checkered bag there. And here's another shot of her face as she's walking out. So just something to keep in mind if you see this woman. Again, the most recent at the Gallatin Pike Kroger in Nashville, please call Crime Stoppers. We have at least a dozen people who are still missing this morning after a volcanic eruption, the latest on the search efforts. And right now it is a foggy start to your Tuesday. This shot looking into downtown Nashville, not too bad. But once you get outside of downtown, it is real thick. In fact, Justin is following that police situation on Briley Parkway. We've got thick fog there as well. We'll have updates for you in moments.
Attention homeowners.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. 5:41 is your time. The death toll from a volcano erupting in Indonesia has now risen to at least 23 people, and we know that there are many others still missing right now. Indonesian officials say some of the climbers who were on this volcano at the time were so close to that eruption that their bodies likely will never be found. And those that have been recovered are being brought down even as we speak this morning. So just a devastating scenario there. Wanted to get you updated. We were first telling you about it yesterday and just monitoring it for you with those latest developments. And speaking of developments, we've had some in the weather department just in the last moment or two. Let's send it over to Greg right now.
Yeah, while I was doing the last check of your weather, this developed. Now, we've been watching the fog. This is no surprise, but they put a dense fog advisory out until 9 a.m. for the exact same areas that all of us here in studio have been watching for you the entire morning. Just know that if you are Nashville toward the west and then toward the north of 40, you're in an advisory until 9 a.m. What does that mean? It just means that visibility is not great, and it's not going to get better until we can get out of this scenario. cameras are going to look different everywhere that we look. The more dense populated areas we look at, the cameras will look a little bit better. We've got the high rises, the fog can't settle in as easily, it's a little bit warmer. You get outside of downtown, especially toward the west, and we are seeing the fog this morning. So that advisory again issued about 6 minutes ago from right now. Taking a look, all clear for code red, tracking weekend storms. Be careful heading out the door, watch for kids at the bus stop, and we'll continue to watch this developing fog. I mean, that's what we're waking up to, cold and fog on this Tuesday morning.
Still clear traffic out there for you this morning. Let's take a look at the fog out there. This is going to be in Hopkinsville, just off of I-24. You can see it for yourself. It is rather thick out there this morning. And it's not just in Hopkinsville. It looks like this. It looks like this in places like Clarksville and Dickson as well. So heads up in that particular area. We're also dealing with a accident that's being described as police activity. This is going to be Bradley Parkway, Centennial Boulevard. This is over in the West Nashville area. Heads up there. Looks like authorities are starting to leave the scene, so this should reopen here in the next few minutes. Good news there on the west side.
All righty, Justin. Yeah, good stuff there. Thank you. A bright holiday season for a music legend. She's still rocking around the Christmas tree. We'll tell you the reasons to celebrate this morning. Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Just an odd story, wild, coming from the Bahamas right now, where a woman has been killed in a shark attack. Here's what we know so far. She's 44 years old. She had been paddleboarding with another man near a beach resort in New Providence in the Bahamas when the shark attacked her. Officials say that resort lifeguard noticed what was happening and went into the water on a boat to try to rescue that woman and the man who was out there with her. The lifeguard performed CPR on the woman, but efforts to save her unsuccessful. She had serious injuries to the entire right side of her body. We are still waiting to find out more about that woman and the man who was with her. As we get those developments, we'll bring them to you live through 9. But my goodness. All right, entertainment news here on your Tuesday morning. Longtime Nashville neighbor Brenda Lee rocks her way to #1 again and breaks records in the process. Brenda Lee and the classic Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree just landed at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart for the first time since it debuted 65 years ago. Can you believe it's been that long? The song becoming the oldest song ever to reach #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, and Brenda Lee becomes the oldest person to ever sit in that top Hot 100 spot. The last time that she hit #1 was in 1960. That's a 63-year gap between the two #1 hits. That's the longest span in history. I was telling the guys during the commercial break that, I don't know if you've heard it, but if you have teenagers in the house, maybe, there's a remix of Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree that has propelled that song back into popularity. It's part of like the trap music genre, so it's got like funky beats and digitized and all that stuff. But
you almost destroyed my childhood. Because we were in the commercial break, and right before the beat dropped into the trap version of it,
I was playing it for
we had to come right back, and I was like, we're good for right now. But I'm going to have to listen to it because, you know,
such a classic.
Everything that is old becomes new again.
Right. Fashion, music.
Everything.
Right. All those trends.
You know, some of the things that are old are just forever.
True. Classic. Timeless.
Timeless. The weather's not timeless, though. The weather's going to be forever changing. Taking a look here. Each and every day a little bit different than the one before, and we'll always make sure you know what's going on. Here you go with your breakfast forecast. This is very similar to yesterday right now. Not much of a breeze just yet. I wish we had a little bit of wind because fog has settled in west of Nashville and then north and west of Nashville. And we have a dense fog advisory that was settled in about 20 minutes ago. And it will continue through 9 a.m. So getting up, getting moving, temperatures are only going to be in the 40s by 9 a.m. It'll be a cold start. You want the winter coat. You want the low beams on the car even when the sun comes up. And just know that we're going to have you covered all the way through 9 o'clock. Each and every time. Every 5 minutes, you're going to see an updated forecast and also an updated look at all of your cameras getting you up and out the door. Justin?
Clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get out to Hopkinsville. We continue to watch that fog roll through that area. This is over on, I believe they call it Eagle Way out there in Hopkinsville. An extremely foggy start outside that gas station there in Hopkinsville. So heads up, it looks like this across much of the city that we've seen this morning there in Hopkinsville. Same deal in Clarksville and places up there, probably Fort Campbell too, all under that dense layer of fog that Greg has been showing you there on his particular maps. Back here in the city, though, we're doing okay. This is 40 near the airport. No big delays in that direction.
All right, Justin, thank you very much. It's 5:51 right now, and Fox 17 News with some updates coming from our nation's capital. The New York Congressman George Santos, who was just expelled from Congress, is now selling videos on the Cameo platform. Cameo is a website where you could go pay to get a personalized greeting from a celebrity. George Santos has a Cameo link on his Twitter profile, and it describes the Republican as a, quote, former congressional icon, and also, quote, the expelled member of Congress from New York City. So that's how he's describing himself. If you decide you want to buy one of these things from him, like $200 for a little clip. And by the way, these videos are short. I mean, these are, maybe 30 seconds to a minute sometimes. Well, interesting turn of events for him. Hey, we prepare every year for Santa, right? And now you could live like Mr. Claus, checking out the latest listing that is all things Santa themed. We'll take you there in minutes. In the meantime, we do want to say thank you for waking up with us here on Fox 17 News. You can see this live look from downtown Nashville showing just a little bit of light fog hanging low over by Nissan Stadium, but it's worse in our outlying areas. We track that brand new dense fog advisory just issued as we get into our 6 o'clock hour.
This Christmas,
5:55 our time. Taking a look here at your Code Red forecast. No Code Red weather. Looking ahead to your weekend, no next chance for a couple of thunderstorms that'll move in. No rain this morning. This morning's big story is going to be fog that will linger with us until we get past sunrise. A dense fog advisory in effect for everywhere north and west of Nashville until 9 a.m. That was issued about a half hour ago. So brand new news here in the weather department to kick off your Tuesday morning. A few showers early on your Saturday, and maybe even a thunderstorm or two later in the day. How do you track when you're on the go? You scan the QR code right there on your screen, or you go to the App Store. Whether you're an Apple user or you're an Android user, doesn't matter. We got you covered on both platforms. You can also connect. Meteorologist Greg Bobus on Facebook. You can go to the X page or Twitter. You just go to twitterx.com, whatever it is. Just search my name. That's how you get breaking weather, and you'll see that dense fog advisory right there, right now on your screen.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. First of all, let's start here in Nashville. This is where we've got smooth sailing out there on I-40 as you make that drive in towards from the east side here. We're doing okay so far in either direction. We're doing all right, and that's certainly great news for you here on this Tuesday morning. Where we're not doing so hot is in the fog out here in Hopkinsville. Look at that. That is a thick, heavy blanket, so much so you can almost wrap yourself up in it and cover up. We don't want you to do that. We want you to be safe out there this morning. We're going to show you where else the fog is coming up here in our 6 o'clock hour.
Thank you, Justin. All right, we mentioned it just a moment ago. I want to share with you the details of a new listing on Airbnb that is made to look like what we imagine Santa's workshop would be, like a cabin that is all themed out in northern Finland. How gorgeous. All right, not only do you get to go stay in this cabin, but you can do a little work in an area that looks like Santa's post office. You could apparently ask for a hired help that is dressed like an elf. Airbnb has been offering adventures like this over the last few years. They've got like a Ghostbusters themed firehouse. They've got a house that's themed like the Scooby-Doo Mystery Machine. So this is just the latest offering, again, in beautiful Finland. If you still have some holiday shopping to do, but you don't have a whole lot of cash, we're here to help. We have our Fox 17 holiday trivia game going on right now. So grab your phone, scan the QR code that's on your screen. And in case you're not familiar, the way you do that is you open up the camera feature, hold it at that circle on your phone there. It'll give you a link. You tap the link, you register to answer today's trivia question. You get it right, you're entered to win the $100 gift card giveaway every day. And then each daily winner gets the chance to win a $5,000 weekly prize. So again, scan the code to get the question for our holiday trivia contest, and good luck. You might have heard us mention it at the top of our 5 o'clock hour this morning. The Oxford English Dictionary has just published the word of the year. And for those of you who are over the age of like 30, 35, you might not have ever heard this word before. The word is Rizz, R-I-Z-Z. Apparently it's pretty popular with Gen Z. This is people who are considered to be between the ages of 11 and 26. Rizz is a word that is used to describe somebody's ability to attract or seduce another person. Slang for charisma. Charisma. So that's the Rizz. Get it? Rizz beating out other 3 finalists here. Words like Swiftie. I'm surprised that wasn't the number 1. Situationship, which is like an informal romantic relationship. A situation ship. Listen, I don't make up these words. I'm just telling you. And then prompt, which is, you know, in the tech world, right? An instruction that you give in the tech world, a prompt. Again, we don't make them up. We just tell you the words of the year. The number 1 is Rizz.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
And lots of Rizz at those MLB winter meetings. We're going to have all those details and what's happening here in Music City coming up shortly.
I still don't know what just happened. Taking a look here, it's your forecast. I can tell you what is happening when it comes to fog and potential rain going into the upcoming weekend.
Steer clear traffic takes us to a foggy Hopkinsville. We're going to show you some of the areas where the fog is especially heavy.
6 o'clock on the dot right now. Thanks for starting your day with us here on Fox 17 News This Morning. I'm Jennifer Waddell. We want to get straight to the big breaking news stories of the morning. We're going to get to weather and traffic here momentarily, but first, sending prayers to the Coffee County Volunteer Rescue Squad, whose building caught fire this morning, and the damage is extensive. They shared these pictures with us on Facebook. We know that this group is, as I mentioned, a volunteer organization. They've been operating, serving people in Coffee County since 1963. How this is going to impact their ability to respond to other emergencies is something we're working to find out. So we're in touch with the Coffee County folks, working to get those updates for you, and we'll bring them to you here live through 9. Right now, Operation Crime and Justice, and we have had an arrest overnight of a 60-year-old man in Nashville who's accused of killing his longtime girlfriend and trying to burn her body. That man now in custody. Williamson County officers picked up Frankie Lee Jones in Fairview. Officers say he killed Ethel Kennedy, put her in a car, and set it on fire along I-24. Fire crews ultimately found that burning car. But again, Mr. Lee here in custody this Tuesday morning. Another top story that we're following for you this week in the heart of Nashville, Major League Baseball is here in town. It's a who's who during the winter meetings that are happening right now at the Gaylord Opryland Resort. So what do they do during this week-long event? Well, Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker joining us live to explain.
Hey, good morning, Jen. Yeah, there's going to be lots of talk today. It's a big day for Major League Baseball franchises and their organization. Talk on not only the state of the game, but also a number of things that happen in regards to trade. Now, Chris Bacon with the Nashville Stars says it's a great opportunity for Music City to be part of it all. He adds that this is a chance for Major League Baseball to see what Nashville is all about, not only on paper, but actually here in person.
There's been discussion about Nashville as being an expansion market. And, while expansion is not expected to be on the table for the meetings, it's still an excellent opportunity for all of Major League Baseball, all the teams and everybody involved with it, to see how great the Nashville market is and why it'd be a logical choice for a franchise.
Now, Bacon is hoping 2024 will be a next step forward in that regard. Our sports director, Jill Junick, will be at the Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center, where those winter meetings are happening later this morning and really this entire week. She's going to have all of the updates and what's going on there, both on air and on our streaming platforms. You can catch more of that on Fox 17 News at 5:30. For now, live in studio, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Good morning. Baseball, kind of that year-round sport we've got here. I've got an update for you, brand new update, two of them actually. When it comes to visibility, our fog continues to spread across some areas, mainly still to the north and west of Nashville. But now we're talking areas from southern Kentucky down through I-65, through Portland, Gallatin. These areas are now seeing more pockets of dense fog developing. We've had it in the Dickson area up through Clarksville and Hopkinsville, but this is the new development in the last 15 minutes when it comes to the fog. We have a dense fog advisory in effect through 9 o'clock this morning for just the areas that are shaded in gray. But don't let this make you think, oh, you're great. You're good to go. You got no problems. Everywhere around Nashville, even off toward the east, is going to see a small fog influence to your morning. Keep that in mind. You're starting off in the 30s here today, 54 degrees later on this afternoon. We keep it cold the next couple of days. We'll talk about our next possible chance for thunderstorms. I haven't used that word in a long time coming up in the next Check Your Forecast. Justin?
Steer clear traffic for you this morning at 6:05. Here's a quick look at what we're facing out there. This is going to be a look at I-24 in the Hopkinsville area. You can see right here. It is a foggy area out there in Hopkinsville, and it has been for the last several hours, not just here in Hopkinsville, but in places like Clarksville and in Dickson as well. The fog has been dense and thick. So far has not caused major accidents, but it is causing visibility to be low. So give yourself lots and lots of stopping distance between you and the next car. Here is I-65 at Trinity Lane. No fog here in Nashville so far this morning, but we do have the influx of traffic that is starting to build in here in places like 65 at Trinity. We're going to continue to watch it, give you fresh drive times and all of that coming up in a few.
Justin, thank you. A scary situation in Spring Hill yesterday. A gas line ruptures, sending flames into the air in a very busy construction zone. First responders forcing people out of their homes on Round Hill Lane and Hunt Valley Drive. The gas company, Atmos Energy, shut off the gas. People are now back in their homes this morning. But could you imagine seeing this in your neighborhood? How terrifying. But again, thankfully, everything is now under control and people are back in their homes. Just, another reminder of the dangers of some of these massive construction zones across the mid-state. You can get the latest news just like that at your fingertips and stay in the know with updates and push alerts. Just scan that QR code on your screen. We can get you updated 24/7 through the free Fox 17 News app. Metro Police right now asking the city of Nashville for millions of dollars for new tasers. Metro Council members have been crunching the numbers and doing some math, and they have questions about the price tag here. Justin McFarland with that story in minutes.
'Tis the season.
6:09 is the time. Metro Police saying they need 1,658 brand new tasers. And they just can't go to Amazon to buy them. They have to come with the ability to have technical support and the ability to have upgrades done to them, a lot like cell phones, and that can get expensive. The question is, how expensive? Well, let's try $24 million for these brand new tasers. Now, please keep in mind, Metro just bought brand new tasers back in 2022. Now, the same company says those tasers that they bought are no longer really adequate, and they want them to upgrade. Now, Metro Council members have some questions.
Other than there's a shinier, newer toy in town, is there any disadvantage to not using those through the rest of their life and then in 2027 go into the latest technology, which might be the T15, which would be really cool?
One of the issues with the Taser 7 and its predecessors is that it fires both of those probes at the same time with two aiming points. So you're trying to, often on a moving target, get both spots aligned just right to get good probe deployment. And that can be difficult. And we've seen cases, plenty of them, where that just simply doesn't happen and the person's not incapacitated.
So they're not as effective as they could be if they upgrade. The Metro Council did this Budget and Finance Committee, went ahead and passed it. 9 votes for, 4 votes against it. There is a very strong no vote that you're going to hear about coming up in our 7 o'clock hour. But the full Metro Council will get another crack at this coming up here very, very soon.
And looking here at 611, not just the fog this morning that we have been actively showing you about every 5 minutes or so. We've got a weather system moving into our west, that big blue line making its way closer and closer to us. What does this mean? Well, it means we have a chance for a pop-up shower this afternoon. Thankfully, we're not more to the north where they're going to see some snow through the upper Midwest. So maybe you're traveling there later on today or throughout the rest of this week. That's going to be an ongoing situation. And even East Tennessee could see a few snowflakes. This weekend, we could see a few snowflakes. If you don't get a pop-up shower today, you've got nothing heading your way until at least Saturday. Saturday into Sunday, the Cumberland Plateau could see a few areas that we have to watch out when it comes for snow potential. We're going to have a big drop-off in temperature, but the weekend outlook in general is going to be in the 60s on Saturday and the low 50s on Sunday.
Clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get out to the very latest happening there in the Hopkinsville area. We continue to follow the heavy fog in and around this area in Hopkinsville. So heads up out there. If you're in Hopkinsville, Clarksville, Dickson, we have seen that fog hitting this area especially hard. Greg has been telling you about it, and we've been showing it here. This is actually lighter than what we saw a little bit earlier in the morning. So good news, as the fog may be lightening up just a little bit, at least in this area out there for your morning drive. Here is I-24 back in the city near the Tanger outlets. We're doing okay so far as the sun starts to come up here in Metro Nashville. No major tie-ups so far here on the interstates. We'll continue to watch the roads here for you, let you know what happens live through 9.
U.S. support for Ukraine could soon come to a halt. I'm Atrell Nashar with why Congress can't agree on a path forward.
And with just a few days left in the year, it's crunch time for Congress to try to approve a U.S. aid package for Israel and Ukraine. We're going to tell you why some members of Congress remain divided on exactly how to send that aid.
Attention homeowners.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. It is 6:15 and we want to bring you some breaking news as we work to get information from the area near Trinity Lane and Brick Church Pike in Nashville. Our photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey has been out there for the last few minutes working to get information as to what happened here. Unfortunately, we're not getting a whole lot of information right now. Details are limited, but at last check we had about 6 Metro police cars at this location. Now, we have unconfirmed reports through the dispatch website for Metro Police that there might have been personnel in danger, but we do not have confirmation of that right now. That's just what was listed through their website. And so we are working to get that confirmed. We can see a lot of officers out of their cars and several pulled off. Again, this is Trinity Lane near Brick Church. I can see the 5-Star Vape and Smoke Shop sign right there in the background. Traffic moving along behind. So we're monitoring this breaking news situation, La Paria. Also right here at this intersection across the street, I can see a Marathon gas station. So as we get developments here, we'll bring them to you live on Fox 17 News this morning through 9 a.m. The White House issuing a warning to Congress. If they don't act quickly, the U.S. will run out of ways to help Ukraine fight off Russia. National correspondent Atra Al-Nashar reports from Capitol Hill.
We are out of money and nearly out of time. The White House issuing those blunt words to congressional leadership Monday in yet another plea to approve more funds for Ukraine.
A vote against supporting Ukraine is a vote to improve Putin's strategic position. That's just an inescapable reality.
There is enough support in both parties to approve the aid, but Republicans have a condition.
If you want aid to Ukraine, we need to control our southern border. Reform asylum, reform parole is possible to do. Democrats don't want to do it. All Republicans want to do it.
Democrats back President Biden's proposal that includes additional asylum officers, immigration judges, and border agents, and argue what Republicans want would deny protection for vulnerable people without actually improving the border crisis.
Making things even more complicated is the fact that Congress is under another tight deadline to fund the federal government by early next year. And the growing national debt nearing $34 trillion puts any new spending under the microscope.
Outside groups, even some members of Congress, calling for a bipartisan fiscal commission to identify ways to pay down the debt. Billionaire hedge fund manager Ray Dalio among those urging policymakers to pay attention to the cost of high interest rates.
The longer term is that we are at a point in which we are borrowing money to pay debt service. And as that happens, and you want to keep spending at the same level, there is the need to get more and more into debt.
Lawmakers have to decide, and soon, if new spending, whether it be for Ukraine, the border, or other security priorities like Israel and Taiwan, is indeed worth the price now to avoid paying for a larger conflict down the road. On Capitol Hill, I'm Atra Al-Nashar reporting.
6:18 is the time. Right now, we've had a dense fog advisory issued for several parts of Middle Tennessee as you're getting up and getting ready for your Tuesday.
Fun start, right?
Well, hey, it could be worse. It's not raining, it's not snowing, it's not icing. We can get through the fog, right?
You are the world's most glass half full person I've ever met, and I love it.
I try.
It's so true. You know,
I gotta
you're right.
try.
As long as you leave a few minutes early,
Yeah,
you use
yeah.
the low beams.
Right.
You
give some
you
space.
respect your distance.
Right.
You should be okay.
Respect the cushion.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
The bubble.
That personal bubble of your car. Yeah. You should be okay. So here's how we are. Here's where it's at. This has evolved a little bit here over the last 2 hours. So how has it gotten different? Well, one area that has been a hot spot the entire morning, the bullseye's right over Dickson, and then up through Clarksville and Hopkinsville. Now, what this means is that areas that are in the red have less than a quarter of a mile of visibility. That's just a couple of stoplights down the road where you can't see much in your way. You get into the Nashville area, we're in a real gray area, quite literally, where there are some pockets of fog, 65 on south down toward Nashville, and this is spreading out toward the Tompkinsville area. Where is the dense fog advisory? We told you about it less than 5 minutes after it popped up for us here, and this is Nashville toward the north and west. Do not worry about the words freezing fog. You have to have temperatures that are at or below freezing to have freezing fog. This is not a freezing fog advisory. This is a dense fog advisory, just meaning visibility will be lowered for us here. Keep that in mind. Your temperatures are starting off in the 30s and 40s to kick off the morning. They will be up to 54 degrees later on this afternoon. A little bit cooler tomorrow in the 40s before a warm up into the weekend.
Sarah, clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get you out to Clarksville. I promise it's there somewhere. That's Whitfield Boulevard there in Clarksville, where they have that heavy fog that is covering a lot of Montgomery County right now. So heads up in that area. And it's not just Montgomery County. The fog does not know things like state lines. It doesn't know anything about that. It crosses right over it and goes over into Kentucky. So Hopkinsville, Oak Grove, places like that are all being covered by this type of fog as well. No impacts here in Metro Nashville. We're doing okay. I'm going to show you that drive and drive times. I've got them in the oven right now. I'm going to go check on them and bring them to you coming up in a few.
Justin, thank you. Right now getting you updated on the war in the Middle East, we have some progressive lawmakers and Democrats who are demanding conditions on any more money sent to Israel. Senator Bernie Sanders leading the charge, warning President Biden that any new aid should be met with an assurance from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to limit civilian casualties in the ongoing war in Gaza. This amid Mr. Biden's request for $106 billion for both Ukraine and Israel. At the same time, Democrats are pushing for a permanent ceasefire. Now, Secretary of State Antony Blinken is blaming Hamas for the end of that ceasefire in Gaza, saying that terror group went back on its side of the deal. The Hamas-run health ministry in Gaza claims more than 15,000 Palestinians have been killed in the fighting. Here at home, several headlines to kick off your Tuesday, including the latest from the Titans. You know, we were wondering yesterday, would there be a fallout as far as coaching was concerned after the big loss? There has been. We'll get you the details next.
Now at home.
Good morning and welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning, 6:24. After Sunday's special teams meltdown for the Titans, they have now fired their special teams coach. Head coach Mike Vrabel firing Craig Aukerman after the Colts blocked 2 punts and sent our likely Pro Bowl kicker Ryan Stonehouse off the field with a season-ending leg injury. It was awful. Now, Aukerman started with Coach Vrabel in 2018, so he's been around for a while. He's the first coach that Mike Vrabel has fired during the season. So we want to know what you think. Do you think Coach Vrabel deserves another season with the Titans? A lot of chatter about this on social media right now. And so far, 57% of you think Coach Vrabel should stay. You've got lots of time to vote in this poll. We just posted it, and we've got several hours left. So head on over to twitter.com. Our handle is @FoxNashville, and let us know what you think. While the Titans have just made that big cut, Tennessee Tech University has just made a big hire. Tennessee Tech announcing that Bobby Wilder will be the Golden Eagles' next head football coach. Now you can see here, he's wearing a hat and a shirt that say ODU. That is Old Dominion University in my old stomping grounds in Virginia. So he's coming here to be the next head football coach for Tennessee Tech. Let's get a Cliff Notes version of your forecast right now. Greg left us a couple of notes to pass along to you. The biggest story of the morning in the weather department is the dense fog advisory. The area that's shaded in gray, Nashville and North Nashville West, and even Nashville and little Southwest, all in that dense fog advisory through 9 a.m. So talking to you, if you are up in Clarksville, Jolton, Pleasant View, Springfield, Dickson, Paris, Camden, you are all going to see a foggy morning commute. Even looking at, for example, that corridor involving I-40 coming into Nashville and I-24 from Clarksville coming in. So take it slow out there. Make sure you get your lights on low and give yourself extra space so you can see ahead of you. Justin.
Well, Jen, that fog has now made it beyond just the north and west of Nashville. Now, it is now within Metro Nashville itself. This is Riley Parkway near White Bridge Road over in West Nashville. Yeah, that's plenty of fog. It is not just here. It's over near Whites Creek as well. So heads up if we're in the West Nashville area. We're starting to see that fog creep in, and we're going to see more of it here as the morning goes on. A bit of a slowdown coming in on 24 at Waldron Road, coming in from Rutherford County. We've got your drive times coming up in just a few.
Coming up, MLB winter meeting. So much happening in Nashville this week. We're going to have all of those details and the potential for that to expand here in Nashville.
December is Mattress Month. You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Welcome into Fox 17 News This Morning. 6:30 is your time. A couple of different live looks. To start your Tuesday, it is December 5th. We're monitoring how this fog is shifting around the midstate and how it's impacting your morning drive. Plus, we're checking in on traffic with Justin.
Yes, we are. The traffic is taking us over to Briley Parkway or White Bridge Road, where we're starting to see the fog impact Metro Nashville. We're going to tell you what else is going on.
It's an ongoing issue in Nashville. The crowding at the airport, the construction, the development, and the frustration. We're going to take a closer look at what airport leaders have done to try to ease some of that frustration and find out whether it's working. Thanks so much for starting your day with us here on Fox 17 News this morning. Glad to be here for you. I'm Jennifer Waddell. We've got you covered live through 9 a.m. And by the way, 9 a.m. is the duration for which we have a dense fog advisory in effect for a good portion of Middle Tennessee. Let's send it over to Greg right now and find out what's going on.
Yeah, let's just get right into it right now and take a look at what we're seeing. And things have been evolving throughout the morning. Here's how you read this map. Make it easy for you. Hot color, not good. No color, not perfect, but much better. What this means is the yellows going into the oranges and reds, the visibility is less and less depending upon where you're at. The hot spots have been Dickson all the way up through Clarksville, Hopkinsville, and now we've seen it spread a little bit more toward the east through Tompkinsville. You can't track fog. What fog does, it eats the moisture up in the atmosphere, and then when it's done, it moves along to the next little batch that it wants to. Temperature has to be perfect. Wind has to be close to zero. And that's where we're at this morning. So, dense fog advisory for all of those counties we just mentioned, north of I-40 and west of I-65, all the way through 9 o'clock. We'll keep watching cameras. Good news is the sun is coming up. Low beams. I don't care if the sun's up where you're at here in the next half hour. It's going to help you out. As far as the code red threat level goes, we're all clear. A couple of weekend storms, though. Yeah, I used the word storm. We haven't used that in a real long time here in the morning. We're going to track those for you coming up in a few minutes. Right now, a sneak peek at what we're going to deep dive into when it comes to your 7-day forecast. We're starting off in the 30s and 40s, 54 degrees later on this evening. And Justin, you've had the best looks at all of our cameras this morning when it comes to that fog.
All right, well, let's take another look. This one is going to be Briley Parkway at Whites Creek Pike, north and west of downtown Nashville. And you can see people driving in and out of the fog. The lights are on, and that is going to remain the order of the day here as we move throughout the morning. Those lights need to remain on, as Greg just mentioned, for your drive. So far, no major tie-ups, but the foggy conditions are going to continue, especially across parts of West Nashville. Now, it looks like this all the way across Briley Parkway towards White Bridge Road, over on the other side of the west side of town right now. Starting to see that slow creep coming in on I-24. This is normal. This has nothing to do with the fog. This is just Nashville on a Tuesday morning at 6:30. So the drive times look something like this. 67 minutes coming in right now from Murfreesboro. 72 minutes coming down from Clarksville. Extremely foggy conditions up there in Montgomery County as you make that drive down. 31 minutes right now from Hendersonville.
Justin, thank you. We have a breaking news update and brand new information just into the newsroom. A live look now from Trinity Lane near Brick Church Pike. Our photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey is there. That whitish silverish sedan that you see right there is the car in question. This was the initial report that we got this morning of possible officer down. Here's what we've learned in the last just couple of minutes. Police were investigating that sedan right there and the people inside. That's when police say the driver put that car in reverse, slammed into the back of that police cruiser, which you can see it's touching right here. The two people inside that sedan jumped out of the car and took off running. Police were able to catch them. So they're in custody, both the driver and the passenger. And the good news here, no injuries. The officer is okay, but we've just learned that's what's going on here. So if you see a lot of police cars near Trinity and Brick Church Pike, that's what's going on. Thanks to Kevin for the updates. We do appreciate you working out there for us. We'll be monitoring the situation for you, though, just to see if there's anything else that comes about. And as that develops, we'll be sure to keep you posted live through 9 a.m. And as we continue our coverage of the frustration over by Nashville International Airport, especially involving the traffic, we know that after months of that frustration, B&A has made changes. In fact, we first reported last week that the airport was adding short-term free parking spots in Garage 1 and 2 to make it easier for people trying to go to the airport to pick up passengers. This all came, though, because Nashville International Airport removed the cell phone waiting lot from the actual grounds of the airport and moved it almost 4 miles away. People said they didn't want to go park 4 miles away and wait there for somebody to call or text them. So they've circled the airport nonstop, which has created the congestion and frustration. So we asked the airport, do you think this has helped? Airport leaders tell us they think it's still too soon to tell. They say it could take weeks for them to gather physical data to know. But we talked to some folks who said they felt the difference. They felt like it was easy to find the free parking and a little less congested. 6:36 right now. And new this morning, the Major League Baseball winter meetings are back. It's all happening here in Music City over at the Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center. So it's a who's who of Major League Baseball in town right now. What are they doing? And what could that mean for our favorite teams and players? Well, we have Kylie Walker joining us live in studio to explain.
Yeah, this week is really all about those winter meetings and also the MLB, of course. But at the same time, Chris Bacon with the Nashville Stars says it's also a great opportunity for Music City to be part of all of this, because this is a chance for Major League Baseball to see what Nashville is really all about. Now, this is a very big week, of course, in sports. Lots of eyes on this coming in from across the country, with Major League Baseball franchises and their organizations getting together to talk on the state of the game and also a number of things that happen in regards to trade. In light of this, Bacon is hoping expansion talks to Nashville could be available down the road. He'd especially like it if that would happen in 2024.
It's one thing to see it on paper, you see the stories, you see the reports, but they get to come here, they get to experience it, they get to walk the streets, enjoy what Nashville has to offer. And this is fantastic timing for them to be able to do that, and we're looking forward to having them here this week.
And I've been saying it all morning. Our sports director, Jill Jelnick, she's amazing, will be at the Gaylord Opryland Resort and Convention Center later this morning. And she will have all the updates, what's going on there, both on air and then, of course, on our streaming platforms as well. For now, live in studio, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Kylie, thank you so much. Several stories we're going to update you on here in moments, including that volcanic eruption that has now claimed dozens of lives and so many others are still missing. We'll get the latest on those search efforts in moments as you're watching Fox 17 News this morning.
Good morning, time right now, 6:40. Taking a look here at your forecast, and this is one of those mornings where we're going to have a cold dog and also watch out for dog walkers. We do have some fog that is out there in the metro area, but mainly if you get out toward Dickson, Clarksville, Hopkinsville, Tompkinsville, we have got cold temperatures and the fog is much more dense. Also watch for kids at the bus stop. Just be careful driving around town. Leave a little earlier. Know you want the winter coat. You don't need to have the umbrella here for this morning. There could be a passing shower later on this afternoon, but nothing happening right now. I want you to send us your dog of the day photos. And what I don't mean us by Jen, Justin, and myself. I mean us. It's my spirit animal. She's also my mailman. She will give us our photos right here on Fox 17 News every morning. You're going to meet your dog of the day in about 10 minutes. We'll take a look at where the fog is, how it's evolved, and where it's going coming up in just a few.
Steer clear traffic time right now. We have definitely seen the fog impacting your morning commute, and here it is, Briley Parkway at Whites Creek Pike. So this morning, folks, just want to let you know, if you are Nashville and north, Nashville and west, that's where we are seeing the thickest fog right now. Those are also the areas that do have this dense fog advisory until 9 a.m. So the good news, no crashes right here. I'm going to do a quick check of our reporting system and just make sure we are still crash free. Yeah, I don't see any crashes right now in the mid-state, but your drive in this morning from Clarksville going to be a little slow. Same for Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. I'm seeing a real big backup, and in fact, I'm actually noticing some fog in the background here, so we'll take you there live in our next Steer Clear traffic report and see if we can figure out what the holdup is on Vietnam Veterans Parkway. The death toll from a volcanic eruption has now risen to 23, and we have many people still missing. Sadly, teams this morning say that some of those climbers who were so close to that eruption site might never be found. The bodies that have been recovered, again, 23 in all, are being brought down from Mount Mabape, and the search continues right now for about a dozen people who are still considered missing. As we look ahead to the holiday season, we have a classic, a legend, who is getting another reason to celebrate. Decades after a first celebration. The really neat story this morning from Brenda Lee in minutes.
9.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. 6:45 is the time right now, and the story of the morning weather-wise is the fog.
Oh, absolutely.
But Greg has also been dropping little hints throughout the course of the morning about snowflakes and storms. Fog, snow, storms.
Are you trying to make everyone hate me?
There are some people who really like the snow, Greg.
You and I both will be making snow angels the first time we have snow in the morning. I'm with you. No, and
we could use the rain.
We could use the rain.
Yeah.
So let's look at everything in a good perspective.
Yeah.
Fog is way worse than a lot of things in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can just manage it, leave a little bit early, you're good. Rain, we need. Rain's a good thing. I mean, Luke Bryan tells you that.
Right.
So I'm just telling you. And then as far as the snow goes, Cumberland Plateau, a few flakes.
Okay.
We're not worried about a big snowfall. We're not closing down the city. We're not doing any things like that. But there could be a few that are flying during the afternoons going into the weekend. And that'll be it. Not going to stick. We've been way too warm. Our temperatures have been above freezing for far too long for anything to become a cause of concern, which is good. Here's your breakfast. Please have a good breakfast. I'm trying to search the break room over here, and all I'm finding is potato chips and spicy chicken sandwiches. That'll sit well at 6:46 in the morning. 41 degrees will be your temperature at 8 o'clock. We'll be at 43 at 9 a.m., 46 degrees at 10, and we're not going to see much what we have to worry about today. Once the fog lifts and once the sun has been up for a while, that fog will die down very quickly. We'll be good for the rest of today, tomorrow, and Friday. It is into Saturday and Sunday. Most of us, scattered rain showers and storms. Cumberland Plateau, rain, and then that possibility of some snowflakes that will move in later in the day. Here's how temperatures go for us. 54 degrees for your Tuesday afternoon, 48 tomorrow, 58 on Thursday. Temperatures back into the 60s on Friday and Saturday. Yeah. I mean, maybe even t-shirt afternoon weather here for us here before that rain moves in and that storm potential is there right now. We cannot rule out severe weather, but it's a very, very small chance at this moment right now. Look out your weather window.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Winter wonderland vibes around Utah's Big Cottonwood Canyon after fresh snowfall during the weekend. This rainbow added some extra color to the snowscape in part of the Pacific Northwest. While snowfall can present its challenges, on the bright side, making a snowman can be a definite job perk.
Listen to Off the Radar, new episodes every Tuesday. Find it wherever you get your podcasts.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get a good look at what we're facing out there on Vietnam Veterans Boulevard near Gallatin. We are starting to see the fog creep in, even up there now. It is not causing significant slowdowns, but yeah, we're starting to see it for sure up that direction. Keep those lights on as you make that drive up there this morning. We will continue to follow exactly what happens as far as crashes are concerned up there on the road. Your drive down I-24 starting to get rather congested up there, bumper to bumper. No fog on 24 coming in from Antioch, Smyrna, and Laverne. Just plenty of your friends and neighbors all trying to do the same thing you're doing, getting to work or school or whatever it is out there on the roads. But no major crashes to slow you up, at least not yet.
Spotlight on America this morning with cold and flu season here. Children's hospitals are bracing for children who do have respiratory illnesses. Health pros hope that it's not a repeat of last winter's what they called triple-demic, when some facilities were overwhelmed. But with a lot of pediatric units that have had to close because of staffing concerns, doctors and families say they're keeping an eye on things. Fox 17 News' Angie Moreski looks at the growing trend of declining care for kids in this morning's Spotlight on America report.
Okay. This is the beginning of a long day for the Lewis family.
What do you want for breakfast?
up bright and early to get life-saving treatments for 3 of their 5 kids. They made the hour-and-a-half drive late last night from their home in Gary, Indiana, to Beacon Children's Hospital in South Bend. 15-year-old Marvin, 9-year-old Nadia, and 8-year-old Kendra all have sickle cell disease, a blood disorder which has led to seizures, brain surgery, and regular blood transfusions at the hospital at least once a month.
That's a lot. Yes. I would travel as far as I need to travel for their health, but if it was closer,
it would be a lot easier.
Yes. Sorry,
Beacon Children's is the closest hospital to their home where Yolanda's kids can get the level of care they need.
You ready?
On this day, Nadia having surgery to get a port put in for those blood transfusions.
This one, right here.
And Kendra and Marvin going to get their blood transfusions.
How common is it to have families have to come from so far away to get care?
It's a daily occurrence.
Dr. Kate Dukevich is the medical director here at Beacon Children's.
There are no pediatric specialists other than here in South Bend, and then some just east of here too. There's nothing in the northwest part of the state at all.
A study published by the American Academy of Pediatrics found pediatric inpatient units nationwide decreased by nearly 20% from 2008 to 2018, with a quarter of U.S. children now traveling farther to reach the nearest pediatric unit, especially those in rural areas.
COVID accelerated what was already a crisis in declining pediatric beds. Many units closed and repurposed for adult care to handle the onslaught of sick, older patients. But even after the pandemic, many of those pediatric units never reopened.
First on the chopping block almost always is the pediatric care.
Dr. Daniel Rausch is former chief of pediatrics at Tufts Children's Hospital in Boston, which closed its inpatient pediatric unit in the summer of 2022.
It comes down to money. It just doesn't pay to do pediatric care in the United States.
Rausch says we saw the impact of declining pediatric beds during the triple-demic last winter.
There were days when there were no pediatric intensive care unit beds in all of New England.
Definitely worried about the respiratory season this winter, yes, and I think it may have started today.
At Beacon Children's in South Bend, Dr. Dukevich told Spotlight on America they are bracing for another hectic cold and flu season.
We are full to bursting, and I mean, everybody's kind of on roller skates today.
On the day we visited, their 24-bed unit was at capacity, forcing them to turn patients away.
I can't accept anybody else. We don't have any beds.
The Lewis family does their best to deal with the burden of traveling so far for care.
I carry them, and they carry me.
But it takes its toll.
I don't want to be that weak link in a chain. If I break, then they'll be gone.
Research shows critically ill children are 4 times more likely to die in hospitals that are not pediatric ready. A closer look at that problem in our next report. For Spotlight on America, I'm Angie Moreski.
Here at home, we are following breaking news updates for you, taking a live look from near Trinity Lane and Brick Church Pike in North Nashville. We told you moments ago that silver sedan was a car in question after police pulled it over. We just learned that the tags on this sedan came back as stolen. So police pull over the car. The driver puts it in reverse, according to police, and backs smack into that Metro Police SUV. The driver got out of the car, took off running. Police were able to catch up with that person. So the good news here this morning, no injuries. But if you're driving near Trinity and Brick Church, you're going to see a lot of police officers. This is the reason why. So we understand that police just put the driver of that sedan in one of their police units. So our Kevin Mumphrey is zooming in on the area. We understand the person in question, the driver of that car, is in the back seat of that SUV right there, awaiting charges. So monitoring the breaking news developments for you as your live local news source through 9 a.m. Kevin Mumphrey, our photographer out there, thank you so much for the updates. Well, it's not too late to get a one-of-a-kind opportunity to see some of Dolly Parton's iconic outfits. We'll tell you where you can see a new exhibit next.
A cold shower is...
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Let's jump on over to the website and see what's trending this morning. If you head to fox17.com and look at the right side of the homepage, you will see the #1 trending story is back to the snowfall predictions for this winter. And it looks like we could get a little more snow than what is considered typical for this time of year. We're not talking about being buried under feet of snow, maybe just a little bit more. You can read more about that, the #1 trending story at fox17.com. And then the other story is one that we've been bringing you all morning long, and it is the reaction to Nashville Airport's new free parking options to try to ease congestion. So 24/7, we've got you covered at fox17.com.
And waking up this morning to a brand new thing. You're going to see some fog out there in many areas. We have a dense fog advisory that settled in about an hour and a half ago. Take a look, though, at your screen and give yourself a smile. Leave 10 minutes early to beat that fog, but smile first. We have Elliot, our dog of the day. And now Elliot has got it going on. We're not only in what looks to be a canoe, we've got the blanket. We also have the harness, and we have that smile on the face of like, let's just go do that thing. Taking a look here, your outlook for the rest of today is going to be 44 degrees at 9 a.m., 53 will be your temperature at noon, and then 56 degrees at 3 p.m. Good all day. The fog will be gone sooner than later, but right now, please be careful. Watch for kids at bus stops. Watch for dogs for dog walking. They're all over the place. We know this. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, stay dry. Our next weather maker is Saturday into Sunday as we become your only live and local news source. Starting at 7 o'clock, we'll work you through a new look at Future Track.
Steer clear traffic out here for you this morning. Let's get a good look at what we're dealing with here. Vietnam Veterans Boulevard near New Shackle Island. You can see traffic is moving, but the fog is in the air and starting to make its way closer and closer to the Hendersonville area. As a matter of fact, we've seen it down a lot closer to the surface there, closer to places like Conference Drive, a little bit further in. So heads up as you make that drive in down Vietnam Vets. This is 24 at Waldron Road. Typical slowdown out here. No fog. This is just typical Nashville at 7 o'clock in the morning. The drive time well over an hour coming in from Murfreesboro. We're going to give you updates as soon as we get them.
All righty, Justin, thank you very much. Just a minute before the top of our 7 o'clock hour. And Dolly Parton fans, before it's too late, wanted to let you know that you too could get a chance to see her iconic outfits. They're on display in a partnership with Lipscomb University. Now, we interviewed some of the organizers of this event a couple of weeks ago, but just want to remind you that the exhibit, Dolly Parton and the Makers, is now on display until December 9th. All right. This is in over at Lipscomb at the John C. Hutchison Gallery in the university's Beeman Library. Tickets are $25. You can check our website, fox17.com, to learn more. And happening now, country artist Jelly Roll, and by the way, Antioch boy, born and raised here in Nashville, launching the largest Christmas toy drive effort in the Mid-States history. From now until December 15th, you can drop off toy donations at 8 Mid-State Walmart locations. You can check out all of those toy locations also over on the web at fox17.com.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Good morning. Waking up here to some dense fog in some areas. This is going to lift, but we're keeping the cold. How long it lasts and the next chance for thunderstorms and snow. I'm throwing it all at you coming up here in your Code Red forecast.
The true mixed bag. All right, Greg, thank you. And just in this morning, the Coffee County Rescue Squad going to have to piece things back together after a fire at their station overnight. We'll get you updated on what we've learned new this morning.
And coming up, a community ride tonight to city doors as people demand safer roads.
All right, Kylie, thank you so much. And thank you for watching with us here on Fox 17 News this morning. Just after 7 o'clock on this Tuesday morning, I'm Justin McFarland.
I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m. and do want to bring you the latest breaking news updates as they've been coming in this morning. We begin in Coffee County. This is southeast of Nashville, where their rescue squad says they're building
Wow.
Nearly went down in flames overnight. The pictures you see right behind us now are from their official Facebook page.
The Manchester Fire Department, as well as the Duck River Electric and many other volunteer fire departments, are helping to pick up the pieces there this morning. We're still working to gather more information. Stay with us as more updates become available. I know for a fact they are very tight-knit community out there in Coffee County when it comes to the volunteer fire departments.
Yeah, I mean, this volunteer fire department has been around since the 1960s, serving that community. So I know a lot of concerns will be regarding whether they'll be able to respond to emergencies as a result of
And
this.
who's going to cover for them if they don't?
Exactly. So we'll be following that part of the story as well. Plus, this morning, a scary situation unfolding in Spring Hill. Imagine you're in your neighborhood and you see this.
Wow.
Flames start to shoot up from a construction site. This happened because gas lines got ruptured in that area.
First responders forced people out of their homes. Can you imagine getting that knock? Along the Round Hill Lane and Hunt Valley Drive area, the gas company Atmos Energy shut off the gas. This morning, we know people were able to go back to their homes, but certainly scary as that fireball came shooting out of the ground.
Not anything anyone should ever have to deal with, and just one of those scary situations. Taking a look here. This is not a scary situation, but definitely we've been watching it. I've been telling you all morning, you cannot track fog. You just can't. When the temperature hits the right degree and you've got enough moisture in the atmosphere, fog develops, and then when it uses up all the energy it has in the atmosphere when it comes to the moisture, then the fog goes away. So areas that have gotten better in the last hour are Hopkinsville and Clarksville, but Dickson's still not looking good, and now this is shifting more toward the east as temperatures continue to fall. So areas like Gallatin, Portland, up through Tompkinsville, even the Hendersonville area and West Nashville are seeing the best pockets of fog this morning. These will not lift until we get warmer. Watch for kids at the bus stop. Please just be careful. We're all just trying to get our day going. 42 degrees at 8 o'clock, 44 degrees your temperature at 9, and then 46 at 10 a.m. We will have a good deal of sunshine. There is the chance there could be a passing rain shower later on this afternoon. I am not writing home about it. I'm not telling you to cancel plans about it, but we're going to talk about it coming up in the next check of your forecast right now, how things are looking on the roads to kick off this morning.
All right, let's get to your steer clear traffic out there. Let's check in on 65 at Trinity Lane there on the north side. You can see traffic moving along at a normal pace up there. This is normal for this time of the day on I-65 near Trinity Lane. No big problems there for you this morning. But we are seeing the impact of the fog, and that includes places like Vietnam Veterans Boulevard here at Gallatin Pike. And it looks foggy like this in certain sections. It's not everywhere, but depends on where you catch it. Briley Parkway near Whites Creek Pike, all the way around to White Bridge Road, in certain sections of Montgomery County. Of course, all the way up in Hopkinsville, we have seen it. So just know the fog could be part of your drive, even if it's not outside your window right now. By the time you get to where you're going, the fog could impact you.
Well, new this morning, we have community members who are calling for action. Specifically, they want safer streets in the Nashville area. This comes after 3 pedestrians died over the weekend in separate crashes. 2 of those 3 crashes were hit and runs.
Fox 17 News' Conley Walker joins us here in studio before the leaders meet later today to decide what to do about this.
That's right. This call to action, or Nashville critical mass, will be just after 5 later today as the community rolls to city council doors to demand change. Now, this flyer, or PSA if you will, is now circulating social media, highlighting the dangers of our roads here in Nashville. It says the city has routinely failed to meet the needs of or protect its citizens. Now, I took these concerns to Councilmember Sean Parker last night, who acknowledges the need for change. Parker says the city and state need to start moving more aggressively toward safer streets.
I feel like sometimes people think that all these lives lost is just the cost of doing business, and it's not. There are cities that don't have anywhere near this level of carnage and loss on their streets, and we can be one of those cities too if we are willing to make some changes and willing to make this a priority.
Unfortunately, 2022 was the deadliest year for pedestrian fatalities, with nearly 50 pedestrian and cyclists dying just in Nashville. City leaders believe that it's stemming from a combination of things, from infrastructure issues or lack thereof to distracted drivers. And for that ride tonight, the community will gather at Dudley Park at 5:15 and then take off by 5:35. They say all human-powered transit is welcome. We'll have more of that later today. For now, live in studio, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Kylie, thank you very much. We have breaking news this morning that we've been updating for you over about the last hour and a half. We're taking you live out to Trinity Lane and Brick Church Pike. What you're seeing here from our photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey is a silver sedan that backed into a Metro Police cruiser this morning. What we've been able to learn here in the last few minutes, the driver of that sedan, after putting it in reverse and slamming into that SUV, took off running. Police got that driver, and the driver has now been placed into police custody.
Okay, so it sounds like everybody is okay this morning. No major injuries reported with this particular incident. This happened on Trinity Lane. As you can see, that Exxon gas station right next door, that closed Jack in the Box restaurant right next door to it. You can see even the backup on I-65 right behind it, just to give you a perspective of where this is, very close to Brick Church Pike. Authorities remain on the scene for a little bit longer. I would imagine, Jen, they're waiting on a tow truck to probably come take this car away, probably take it over to evidence to be processed over there. We've seen the amount of police officers has gone down dramatically compared to what it looked like a little bit earlier in the morning.
It sure has. Interesting to note as well, police have also told us in just the last few minutes that they ran the tags on this car. It had come back stolen. Now, whether that was the initial reason, right, for the investigation is something we're still working to piece together. But just another information tidbit for you there, and we'll keep you posted as this scene develops live through 9 a.m.
Well, speaking of Metro Police, they are asking the city for millions of dollars because they say they want to upgrade on their tasers. However, some Metro council members have got some serious questions about the cost. We're going to take you there coming up in just a few.
When it comes to remodeling your
7:10 is the time. Steer clear traffic. Boy, those cars there on Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, looks like they're on the highway to heaven there as they're driving off there into the fog this morning. But instead, they're on the road towards Nashville, Tennessee there on Vietnam Veterans Boulevard near Gallatin Pike. It is a foggy morning over many parts of the mid-state here. Please give yourself plenty of stopping distance as you get out there on the roads. We'll continue to keep you up to date. Well, Metro Police say they need 1,658 brand new tasers, and they can't just go to Amazon to get them. They have to come with the ability to have technical support and even upgrades like cell phones, and that can get expensive. So how expensive, you may ask? Well, let's try out $24 million. And by the way, did I mention they just bought them last year? One Metro Council member is a hard no.
I am of the personal belief that in an effort to be fiscally responsible, we keep the tasers that we currently have that we're paying the $6.5 million for. And I think that this is great technology, and I think that it's technology that's needed. But I think we can get that technology at the end of life of the current tasers that we have. When in my district, we had our fire trucks 2 years ago were being held together by duct tape. Our students don't get new textbooks every 2 years. Our teachers don't get new computers every 2 years. I don't see that it is financially or fiscally responsible for us to move forward with a new contract of this magnitude. So for that reason, I will be voting no.
Well, Metro Police continue to say that the updates are needed because the tasers are more effective. The new ones would be more effective than the current ones that they have.
Here we are quickly checking on a new update to our visibility tracker where it shows the areas of most concern when it comes to fog. A lot of us have it here across Middle Tennessee, but it's actually getting better. The sun is up now. Once the sun comes up, temperatures begin to rise. Temperature helps everything when it comes to fog and getting rid of it. But we still have some areas like Portland, Gallatin, moving up toward Hopkinsville. Dickson still is the hot spot, has been the entire morning. Areas like Clarksville and Hopkinsville, not quite as bad, but just because you're not seeing a color on the map doesn't mean you do not have fog this morning. We've been seeing it, the map just updated right there. You can't track fog. All we can tell you is where we're seeing it and what it could mean to start your day. Be careful heading out the door.
Up next on Fox 17 News this morning, the Titans special teams coach fired by the team. We're going to show you the plays that led to the decision.
Hey there, welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Time right now 7:15. Taking a live look over by First Horizon Ballpark in Nashville. Now the view looks different today than it did even 2 months ago.
Sure does.
We used to be able to see the entire ballpark from this perspective. We've got parking decks and hotels and condos and stuff going over there now.
Yeah.
But we give you this live look now because this is obviously the home of our AAA team, the Nashville Sounds, baseball front and center in Nashville for two reasons. One, talk about an MLB team forming here, but two, we have the winter meetings going on right now over at Opryland.
Yes, we do. That is where the general managers from all the teams are in Nashville right now to chat about exactly what they're going to do and possibly make some deals. Of course, the biggest name in free agency in Major League Baseball and perhaps the recipient of the biggest contract of all time coming up here in just a few weeks is Shohei Ohtani. The question is, where is he going to go? He is a two-time American League Most Valuable Player. This past season, even though he was hurt, he hit 44 home runs. Did I mention he pitches too? He's unreal.
But what's crazy is he's not even eligible to play until what, 2025?
Well,
right? I mean, right, not pitch.
Yeah.
So,
there's some questions about whether or not he's ever going to pitch again. But as a hitter, no, he could be available well before then. So the question is, who's going to sign him? There is a lot of belief that there's going to be a lot of talk among the GMs here about who's going to be in the running for him. I keep seeing several names, but no matter what you read, nobody really knows who's going to sign Ohtani.
But we do expect it to unfold here in Nashville, which is why we bring you that update. So we'll have live updates this week. Our sports director, Jill Jelnick, is heading over to Gaylord Opryland this week. She'll be bringing us updates from inside those meetings.
These meetings are everything if you're a baseball fan, because you haven't had it for a couple of months and you get it. And one of two things happen when it comes to a big name like that. Either money talks or you want to go somewhere to win.
Well, you want to try to get both. If you can.
Exactly.
That's the goal.
You want to meld it all together. Taking a look here, we're melding a lot of things together in the forecast. We're starting up with fog, then we're going to talk about rain, and then potential snowflakes for the weekend. So we're going to crack down a lot of things here real quick for you in your forecast. Dense fog advisory. This was issued a little after 5:30 in the morning. It's mainly for everywhere north and west of Nashville. The fog is already starting to get better, which is good. We want to see that happen here. This is that peak time where driving ends up being the focal point, and so do bus stops from 7 o'clock until about 8. And that's where we're at. That's going to drop at 9 o'clock. Taking a look at Bridgestone Arena, there really is not much happening down there on Lower Broadway. They're just kind of doing what they got to do before we get into the upcoming weekend and we get everything going again like we do every week here in Nashville. Code red threat level is all clear. The fog, again, is lifting, but we are cold. Make sure that you know you need to have a winter coat again, just like yesterday morning. Also know that if you're in Clarksville, you are still not sitting at 0 degrees. I cannot stress this enough every single morning. That is not your actual temperature. You are in the 30s to start today. Next 3 days, we actually get a little bit cooler. We'll be in the 50s today, 48 tomorrow, 58 degrees on your Thursday, and then a warming trend leads us into our next weather maker that could bring in that storm and snow chance that we'll talk about in the next check of your forecast.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Quick look outside. This is going to be I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway, a slow roll coming in from Murfreesboro, around 67 minutes on the drive. We're going to take a look at the fog coming up in a few minutes. Well, 2 block punts have led to the firing of the Titans special teams coach, and now Mike Vrabel is looking for who is going to replace him. Joe Jelnick takes a closer look at the decision that led to the Titans' first time firing a head coach in the middle of the season. Scott Couch has a closer look.
The Titans were trying to do something they hadn't done all year, win back-to-back games, and they jumped out to a 17-7 lead. Then the wheels fell off with two special teams meltdowns in which the Colts blocked a Ryan Stonehouse punt leading to a touchdown. Then the Colts force a fumble on Stonehouse's next punt, knocking him out for the season.
Stoney's going to have surgery and get fixed and come back stronger than ever and ready to go. So certainly don't want to lose players, and that's unfortunate.
Those failures led to the firing of special teams coach Craig Aukerman. Head coach Mike Vrabel decided it was time to make a change.
I want to thank Craig for what he's done for us, certainly in the time that I've been here. But felt like this was the best thing for the team and for the players moving forward. Most importantly, the players.
The Titans are now also looking for a punter who can hold on extra points. Coach Vrabel was asked if former Titans punter Brett Kern, who retired back in June, is an option. Vrabel gave every indication the door's open. As for special teams, Vrabel tapped veteran assistant special teams coach Tom Quinn to take over. Quinn has 32 years of coaching experience, 16 in the NFL.
He's a great teacher, and so hopefully, we'll be able to, continue the stuff that we've done well, and hopefully, eliminate those mistakes that cost you.
And it's cost them big so far this year. Now, the other big news is Titans all-world running back Derrick Henry, who left the game with a possible concussion. So far, he's reporting no symptoms and is not in the NFL's concussion protocol. The Titans' next opponent is the 9-3 Miami Dolphins. They're not so scary. It's okay. They're coming up Monday night for the big game.
Justin, thank you very much. Well, right now on Fox 17 News this morning, a mid-state man, the one you see on your screen, facing charges after the death of his longtime girlfriend. How her death is connected to a burning car on I-24.
Sherry's dashing into...
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning, 7:25 right now. And in case you didn't know, hurricane season is now officially over. And Greg, it feels like we got through this season relatively unscathed here in the U.S.
We really did. Now, we had 20 named storms, which is above average. However, only 3 of those made landfall in the U.S., the continental U.S. So everything else is kind of swirled back out, got out there.
Yeah.
So compared to other years, we actually had a pretty good hurricane season.
Dodge the bullet, yeah.
Dodge the bullet a
Didn't
little
have
bit,
the big one, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah, and it looks like, by the way, NOAA's saying that they're not anticipating anything else until next spring.
Oh, I think we are completely died down and we are done.
Good, okay.
We're settling into a whole new weather pattern, and we're seeing warm temperatures that'll be over the mainland, but it won't be as warm out toward the ocean. So basically, you turn off the heater, and you don't cook up the oven.
All right, now you might be turning up the heater to stay warm around here.
This is how far back we go with Dog of the Day, Jen.
Oh, how cute.
Look at the summer. We've got Elliot. I'm telling you,
Elliot.
When you can be in a canoe, have a blanket, have your vest going on, and have a smile with the sun in your face, that's a good day.
That looks like a little long-haired chihuahua.
Yeah. I mean, I love that photo right there for Dog of the Day. Thank you, Tracy, for sending that in. And we're going to continue to get through our Dogs of the Day each and every day. Right side of your screen, the one big thing we have had is fog in a few spots that has really built in throughout the morning. The good news is we're at the top of the fog. What I mean by that is the most maximum we're going to see in the next 2 hours before we even get to 9 o'clock. You're going to see a lot of the same cameras we show you right now have the fog go away. We get back to normal and we bring out some sunshine. The sun comes up, the temperatures go up, the fog goes away. That's how it works. Here's what we're watching. Yeah, we got another one of those blue lines moving in. We're going to get cool again. Today will be in the 50s, so it's not going to be an influence on today. The afternoon, a passing sprinkle is possible. Southern Kentucky into far northern middle Tennessee, and then we're 40s tomorrow. That's basically all we have to work through as we get through the rest of today, and then no rain until the weekend.
All right, good news, Greg. Thank you so much. We'll get through this work week and then cross the weekend bridge when we get to it. Hey, speaking of traveling, crossing bridges, your morning commute in certain spots this morning going to look a lot like this. A live look right now from I-65 at Moore's Lane down in Brentwood. Traffic is moving along just fine, which is great news, but it is so foggy. And this is not just elevated fog. We're noticing it at ground level. Some other spots that have had some fog this morning would be up in Hendersonville and Gallatin. In fact, Vietnam Veterans has been moving really slowly this morning. In fact, stacked up there on your Sumner County commute. So heads up, you might need a few extra minutes coming in from Sumner County. We'll take another look at steer clear traffic in just a few minutes.
And coming up, a ride for change to city doors. The community wants safer streets.
Kayaking is my...
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
7:30 is our time. Taking a look here downtown. We've had some fog that has worked in. It's moving its way out of downtown right now, but there are still a few pockets that I'm tracking for you here in your 7:30 half hour.
Steer clear traffic. Oh boy, the fog has really hit hard down in Franklin. We're going to tell you about the impact this could have on your drive and other places that could be seeing it as well.
And right now on Fox 17 News This Morning, Nashville International Airport continuing to address issues involving traffic congestion, stories we've been documenting for weeks. We're going to take a look at some of your reaction and the response from the airport in minutes.
Thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News This Morning, just after 7:30 on this Tuesday morning. I'm Justin McFarland.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We are your live local news source, always here for you through 9 a.m. And we do want to start this half hour with an update in the weather department. We've been monitoring that fog for you this morning just to make sure that, you can steer clear of any problem areas.
Yeah, and fog is one of those tricky things in the morning where you can't track it. I can't draw circles and lines and say where it's going to go. It has been stuck where it's at, and then other areas of the atmosphere have just been feeding into this cooler air that moved in overnight. It's going to start to lift, but just because you don't have a color on the map does not mean you don't have fog. Point proven by all of the cameras that Justin has been showing this morning. I've been given the real hot spots where the visibility is below a mile, and then we've been piecing everything together. Everything from Hopkinsville all the way down through Portland, Gallatin, and Dickson. Even Clarksville and Hopkinsville have been areas where we have had some dense fog throughout this morning. This was issued, we brought it to you within minutes of when it happened during our 5 o'clock hour of a dense fog advisory until 9 o'clock this morning. After 9, we'll be warm enough to where the fog does lift. We'll get some sunshine. We'll get into the 50s, but we do have a cooling trend on the way. I mentioned the fog has moved away from right downtown, but it's in all of the outspreading areas. Keep that in mind. I saw it driving in. Jen did as well. We all did. It is out there. Be careful driving this morning. We'll look at your 7-day forecast. Plan your weekend for you coming up in a few minutes.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get a good look here at the fog if we can. This is going to be I-65 at Moore's Lane down there in Franklin. I promise it's down there somewhere. This is in Cool Springs. Normally it's a gorgeous shot, but this morning the fog is really clogging things up. So give yourself plenty of stopping distance out there. It's also a bad morning to be stopped on the side of the road for any reason with visibility like this. Let's go to Vietnam Veterans Boulevard at Gallatin Pike. Also a tough time cutting through the fog for visibility. Can't really see. The drive time extremely slow right now. 51 minutes from Hendersonville into downtown. That's extremely high. Have not received any word about a crash, although with a time like that, there's certainly a possibility. We'll continue to look for it.
Breaking news this morning that we've been following north of downtown Nashville. This is just off I-65, Trinity Lane and Brick Church Pike, where we had a driver in that silver sedan right there back into a police cruiser this morning after some kind of traffic stop or investigation. You can see the damage here. No injuries reported, which is good news. The driver of that car is in custody. The passenger, we understand, cooperated with police, and they ran the tags on that car as stolen. So that's how they came back when they ran the plates. So the good news here in all of this looks to be clearing out. We've got someone in custody. Officers okay. We'll be working to find out, what might have led up to all this, if there are any other extenuating circumstances, right? And so as we get those developments for you, we'll be bringing them to you here on air and online.
A story we covered a few months ago is now getting some much needed answers. In September, the Metro Nashville Police Department found the body of Ethel Kennedy in the backseat of a burned car on Old Glen Rose Avenue. This was just off of the I-24 overpass.
Well, now this morning, we have a 60-year-old named Frankie Jones who is facing homicide charges. Officers say he killed Ethel Kennedy, put her in a car, and set it on fire. Crews found her remains. Well, police have now picked up Frankie Lee Jones in Fairview. That's in Williamson County. They found him after a traffic stop.
Well, new this morning, the community is calling for safer streets. This comes after 3 fatal pedestrian accidents took place over the weekend. 2 of those accidents were hit-and-run cases.
Yeah, Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker has been diving into those 3 reports, but also what city leaders and community members want to see done now to save lives.
Year after year, dozens of people and cyclists are getting killed on our roads. And several times in the past year, we've had to say that it was the deadliest year. We've said this several times over the past few years. Now, pedestrians, those numbers just keep going up and up. This call to action, or Nashville critical mass, will be just after 5 later today as the community rolls to city council doors to demand change. This is why the community will gather at Dudley Park at 5:15 before they ride over as a collective group to council doors. They say that the city continues to fail in protecting its people, and that's why we took those concerns to Councilmember Sean Parker, who says this all stems from a number of issues.
In some areas, you say narrow sidewalks. In some areas, there aren't even sidewalks. You go look on Dickerson Pike, north of Douglas Avenue, and there's people walking, 18 inches from the roadway up against a fence, to get to their job or to get to the bus stop or to get to the grocery store. That's tremendously dangerous. Lack of safe crossings is tremendously dangerous.
Now, Parker says we know the engineering solutions to fix some of these problems. He says that the city and state need to work aggressively to enact change in a timely manner because, of course, as we know, every single day counts. Now, 2022 was the deadliest year for pedestrian fatalities, with just about 50 pedestrians and cyclists killed just in Nashville alone. And just a few weeks ago, Walk Bike Nashville said trends this year indicate more of the same. Live in studio, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Well, are you looking to buy a new home or perhaps rent an apartment? Well, now may be the perfect time to move in. We've got the sweet deals that you might be able to find.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Time right now is 7:40. Going to get into steer clear traffic, or at least what we can see of it. This is I-65 at Moores Lane. Boy, that fog has moved in thick right now. This is not the case across the mid-state, right? A lot of areas that are out toward the east not seeing this kind of a problem, but many of our communities north, west, south, and even northeast of Nashville really dealing with that thick fog. Now, the good news is folks seem to be taking it easy out there. I don't see any reports of crashes right now, but definitely some delays. So this is coming in from Franklin and Brentwood. We've also got some slowdowns north of town up by Trinity Lane and up into Sumner County. So we'll take a live look at those spots coming up in minutes. Well, there we go. Look at that. Justin just switched over for us. Vietnam veterans, Gallatin Pike. There's that slow roll on the bypass. No crashes, just to give a lot of room between you and the car in front of you.
We move quick around here.
Yeah, we do.
In the economy this morning, there are new incentives to get people to rent here in Music City. Zillow is reporting that supply of the units of Music City is now exceeding the demand, which means it's a renter's market right now. Now, while the rent is staying the same in many locations, companies are now offering incentives to stand out in the market. Some apartment complexes are now offering 2 or 3 months of free rent or parking discounts. The average rent in Nashville still remains around $1,900 a month. So save your pennies if you want to make that move.
All right, good advice. Right now at 7:41, we're going to jump on into the Weather Center and take a look at this dense fog advisory that still exists for portions of Middle Tennessee through 9 a.m. It's interesting because that dense fog advisory does not include, it doesn't include Williamson County, but we are seeing some very dense fog down that way. So just because your county's not shaded in gray here doesn't mean you're not going to see the fog. I mean, I'm guessing if you are in Linden, Columbia, even maybe out toward Murfreesboro, up toward Hendersonville and Gallatin, you're still going to see that fog even though you're not in the advisory zone. Monitoring it for you and all the implications live through 9 a.m.
Could a later start time for metro schools make a big difference when it comes to protecting our children?
We're going to take a look at some of your reaction on our social media pages in minutes.
Attention homeowners.
7:44 is the time here on this Tuesday morning. Greg Bobas has been watching the fog make its way across the midstate all morning here. Greg, what are you seeing out there?
We're still lingering with pockets here.
Yeah.
And Jen, you could not have said it better. Just because you're not in a dense fog advisory or a watch or a warning of any kind anytime doesn't mean you're not dealing with it. So these are the areas that have been most heavily impacted throughout the morning. That'll be on your screen. But Justin, you have been doing all the due diligence of finding all the best cameras this morning.
I'm just here working, man.
I mean, I know you, but you're working hard this morning.
We're just doing the thing, man.
You're just doing the thing here.
Same thing
we
do
got y'all
every
covered,
night. Thank
okay?
you. All
And
right.
you're not going to find that anywhere else until 9 o'clock. So there you go. Here's the map, though, that we just showed. And this is the point, and we're going to kind of get to the point and counterpoint of what we just mentioned. That, you know, you go Davidson County onto the north and west, we have a dense fog advisory, meaning visibility less than a mile. But if you get down toward Williamson County, you even get north and east toward Gallatin, Hopkinsville, we have seen visibility that has not been great the entire morning. Now, sometimes we would go code red for a foggy morning, but people have been cooperating. When the fog leads to bad traffic, boom, we are code red. Right now, people, just keep it calm like we have, and let's just keep rolling and moving along. Taking a look downtown, no fog there, but all the outskirts, all the areas that are a little bit colder, we're still seeing, even though that we have the sun that is up. Weekend storms, and one of Jen's favorite words, snow possible in the Cumberland Plateau. Now, not everyone's going to see anything that sticks, or anyone, but a couple of flakes will be flying for the weekend here in the next 3 days. Today's going to be in the 50s. Tomorrow, 48 degrees, 58 on your Thursday, and then on your Friday, I don't know why everything is deciding it wants to bump around like that, but there we go. 64 degrees will be your temperature on your Friday. Nighttime temperatures will get a little bit of relief going into the weekend. We are cold this morning, right side of your screen, not just the fog, but also cold temps. We're not at the freezing point, so we didn't have any freezing fog this morning, but we definitely have temperatures that are in the 30s, and we'll continue that trend tomorrow, and we'll also continue that Wednesday night into Thursday morning before we do get a little warmer. So let's just talk showers, storms, snowflakes, all those things coming up in about 5 minutes.
Still clear traffic for you this morning. Let's take a good look here at what we're dealing with at 65 at Moores Lane. This is down in the Franklin area, and I mean, the fog up there is very, very thick coming in from Williamson County right now. So thick you can barely see anything. Normally, you can at least see some of the car dealerships and some of the freshly cut grass that they do out there in Williamson County, and we're not seeing any of it right now. We are doing really, really heavy fog coming through the Cool Springs area. Again, though, just because it is not under a dense fog advisory does not mean we're not seeing the dense fog. It's certainly present, not just here, but we've been seeing it in Clarksville and Hopkinsville, all the way down into the Whites Creek area there, over all the way to White Bridge Road over in West Nashville, and of course over on Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. But that is not everybody's testimony. Take a look here. This is I-40 at Spence Lane. Fog, not an issue there. As a matter of fact, they may need sunglasses in this area, as they're wide open and looking good. The good news is no major crashes, even though there's a huge slowdown on Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, and I can't figure out why. It's a long line of traffic. I don't know if we can still pull that up there. There we go, 51 minutes on the drive. It's a slowdown for sure, and it's a slowdown on Gallatin Pike as well. Again, unsure exactly why that is, just know it's out there, and it could be a little slower getting down from Sumner County.
Alrighty, Justin, thanks. Crisis in the classroom now. The debate continues over school start times in Metro Nashville public schools. Davidson County has one of the earliest start times in the Mid-State, with classes for some kids starting at 7:05. Other schools in our area start anywhere from 30 minutes to even an hour later, which parents say can make all the difference, especially for certain students. So let's take a look at what some of you have to say about this over on our Facebook page. We asked the question, are you in favor or against Metro Public Schools starting at a later time? Indy Pereira says, all the data shows huge benefits to starting high school later. We have some of the earliest start times in the country, and it is proven to be harmful. Let's take a look at what you had to say over on our page as well. Here we had Ellen Wilson saying, I'm all in favor of making school 4 days a week. Okay, she went a whole other direction. 4 days a week and not 5. Cheers to 3-day weekends. Ellen, I hear what you're saying. I think we're going to have to start with the start times, though, before we ditch a whole day of school. But I hear you thinking, okay? Christina Padigo says, as someone who used to work downtown in healthcare, also fighting school traffic was a nightmare. Go on to say here, fully in favor of reducing the stress for students trapped in cars and buses for hours, and workers who need to have clear heads when they arrive at work. So clearly a lot of strong feelings about this. Feel free to sound off and let us know how you feel about it over on our Fox Nashville Facebook page.
7:50 is the time. We've got continuing coverage of the traffic troubles over at Nashville International Airport. After months of long lines and lots of congestion, B&A leaders did go ahead and make some changes. Now, the airport did add free short-term spots in the main terminal garage to keep people from circling round and round and round at the airport to pick up passengers. This is after B&A moved the cell phone waiting area 3 miles from the main campus. Now, a B&A spokesperson says it's still too early to tell if the new short-term parking lot is helping to reduce the traffic. They say it will take several weeks to gather that kind of data. Chantel Muller was dropping off her daughter and the rest of her family there at B&A and says it was very easy to spot and much easier than using that cell phone lot on Murfreesboro Pike.
Before, you used to have to park so far, and then you'd have to drive and, trying to find a spot or whatever. And so this is much better.
Well, the first 30 minutes in the garage is free. After that, it's around $10 if you're there for over an hour.
By the way, if you want to see all of our stories regarding airport traffic, including the impact on rideshare drivers, plus we have stories about folks that live near the airport who are worried about expansion. Right? Lots of in-depth reporting over at fox17.com. In the search bar, just type in B&A. Well, the Titans have fired a head coach, assistant coach. We should say
Be careful now.
It's the head special teams coach.
Yes.
All right. So firing for the Titans, but a hiring for Tennessee Tech. In fact, the man you're looking at here is Bobby Wilder. He was just announced the new head football coach for the Golden Eagles of Tennessee Tech. You can see he's wearing an ODU shirt and hat. That's for Old Dominion University in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So Wilder says he's excited by the pride and passion at Tennessee Tech.
Congratulations to him and good luck up there in Cookeville. Well, looking ahead, another big weekend, not of football necessarily, but basketball gets into full swing. Starts Saturday morning, 10:30, as Purdue, the Boilermakers, take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Then coming up at 6, UCLA will be taking on Villanova in a big clash, and then Notre Dame taking on Marquette at 8 p.m.
Sunday, Fox 17 is your place to see the Seattle Seahawks play the San Francisco 49ers. Our NFL coverage begins at 3 o'clock.
Well, it certainly is a bright holiday season for music legend Brenda Lee. Coming up, we're going to tell you why she's got a new reason to continue rocking around that Christmas tree.
Ponzi Law, working with
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Hey, while you are out doing your holiday shopping, remember those in need this holiday season. We're taking a live look over at Nissan Stadium, where today they're building a field of toys to benefit the Salvation Army's Forgotten Angels. This is the 16th year for the Toy Field Toy Drive event. Started at 6 o'clock this morning. It goes through 6 o'clock tonight, so you have time on your lunch break or maybe right after work to go drop off a new unwrapped toy.
Very cool event, been going on a long time. A lot of good people down there and trying to get some toys to some needy kids. Well, you still have some time to do some holiday shopping, and certainly some extra cash could come in handy. So we do have a chance for you to win some of that cash by playing our holiday trivia game.
To help you out here, all you have to do is grab your smartphone, open up the camera, hold it at that circle on your screen. That's the QR code. When you do that, it's going to pop up a link on your phone. You tap that link, you register to answer today's question, get it right, you're entered to win that $100 daily Visa gift card.
Now, the daily prize winners will also be eligible to win a weekly national prize of $5,000. Again, scan that QR code, then answer the trivia questions it takes you to, and then from there, you'll be registered to win. Let's talk to Greg Bobus. He's watching the fog for us this morning.
That we are. We're watching a lot of things here. And so as people are getting up, getting moving, maybe morning people are out there running. If that's your morning routine, watch out for them. Also watch out for the four-legged friends that are out there just getting the morning business done. They need to be out there just like we need you to get on the roads. Taking a look here, we have our dog of the day, Elliot, sent in by Tracy. Elliot, this picture is just everything. That's the smile I wish I had right now. 44 degrees at 9 a.m., 56 degrees at 3 p.m. Our temperature is going to stay in the 50s throughout the entire afternoon, so no surprises there. The fog that we have this morning, though, it has been dense in areas. It has caused a dense fog advisory until 9 o'clock for areas north and west of Nashville. That being said, that doesn't mean that if you're not in that area that you're not seeing fog. But downtown looking pretty good. Just be careful. Dog walking forecast, 56 degrees at 2 p.m. How do you send your photos? Top of your screen right there next to the Code Red Weather logo is the Facebook logo. That's where you go. Meteorologist Greg Bobus. The pin post, you find that picture. That's how you submit your dog of the day.
Clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get a quick look here at I-24 Bradley Parkway in the leftover phase of a crash that is clearing right before our very eyes here at 24 Bradley. There, as you make that drive out, please keep in mind that even though this accident is clearing, there are other areas of town that are dealing with other types of issues, and that includes the fog. The fog. There it is there at I-65 near Moore's Lane on the drive there in Franklin. So heads up for you down there. So far, no accidents reported down there, but the heavy fog certainly could lead to one if you're not careful. So pay attention and give yourself extra stopping space to make sure that you are safe this morning. Let's talk about some entertainment news. The longtime Nashville resident Brenda Lee has rocked her way to #1 yet again and has broken several records in the process.
Yeah, it's the classic Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. It just landed at #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart for the first time since it debuted 65 years ago. Ooh. The song becomes the oldest song to ever reach #1. Brenda Lee becomes the oldest person to ever sit in that top spot on the Billboard Hot 100. The last time she did this was back in the 60s. So congratulations to her. It just goes to show some things are timeless.
They really are. I'm just trying to figure out how she beat Mariah Carey still. With that. All right, let's go quickly to what's trending on our website. I think that could be trending soon if we put that up. What is trending right now is the snowfall prediction across Metro Nashville. The weather folks have put out a prediction that says we could see snowfall a little bit higher this winter than we have in previous winters, so you can read all about that. Plus, drivers reacting to the new short-term parking over at B&A. Is it going to work? Is it going to stop the congestion? You can read all about it and the reaction to it all over on our website at fox17.com.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Right now, the Coffee County Rescue Squad is recovering after a fire overnight. We're going to take a look at the damage and how this could impact their ability to respond to you in an emergency.
And coming up later today, community rides to city doors demanding for safer streets. Those details shortly.
Well, thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News this morning. I'm Justin McFarland, just after 8 a.m.
I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m. when those other stations go to their network programming. Did you know that's not live? That's pre-recorded. But we've got you covered live and local through 9 a.m.
We are following some breaking news this morning from Coffee County, and the damage is pretty bad. You can see the pictures actually back here behind us. This is where the Coffee County Rescue Squad had their building catch fire overnight. We're getting these pictures directly from their Facebook page. Look at that, just gutted inside of their building. Several fire departments, including the Manchester Fire Department, the Duck River Electric, and many other volunteer fire departments responded to help them pick up the pieces this morning.
All right, so we're working to get more information, including, how they're going to be able to respond in an emergency in Coffee County as a result, who might be stepping in to help them out. And we'll have those updates for you right here on air and online at fox17.com. And we go to Spring Hill now, where a gas line rupture sends flames into the air in a neighborhood where they're doing a lot of construction right now. This forced people out of their homes on Round Hill Lane and Hunt Valley Drive. The gas company is Atmos Energy. They shut off the gas, and everything is back to normal this morning. We understand everybody was allowed back in their homes already.
8:02 is the time. Let's go to weather if we can. Greg Bova, Sandy Bike's been very busy following some of the updates for us this morning. There in the Weather Center, we know we've been following the fog coming in from several locations.
That we have, and you can, well, we're trying to work with it here.
Well, a little glitch in the matrix here.
I mean, please don't do that. I don't want to be in the matrix.
Okay, well, the visibility tracker is cooperating right now, Greg.
Yeah, and what's good here, but you also can't see all of it. And Justin's been doing a good job of finding every pocket that's not put on here, where we do have the fog that is moving in. Portland through Tompkinsville and then out toward Dickson are the areas that have the most fog. However, Williamson County, we have been seeing some fog as well. And even getting around the outskirts of the Nashville area, we've been seeing some fog. So we're going to keep our eyes on this for you throughout the rest of this morning, and we'll make sure that you know all the way through 9 o'clock, your 7-day forecast, a look at future track. We also are going to take a look at, there is a possibility, you're saying there's a chance we could see an isolated rain shower moving into the afternoon later today as a cool front slides in and brings cooler air for tomorrow. We're going to track all that. There's your brand new update to Visibility Tracker, which we'll keep our eye on as we're your only live and local news source all the way through 9.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning as the fog is now starting to lift in certain locations. That includes here on I-65 at Moores Lane on the south side of town. You can see right here the fog again was really heavy, very, very heavy there in that particular location. So we are so glad that the fog is starting to lift there, and now is no longer the case. We are running into no more problems there as far as visibility is concerned. Let's take you over to another area of town. This is going to be I-65 at I-65 at Dickerson Pike as you make that drive out there this morning. So we can see the traffic there moving very slowly. We want to get you towards as you make your drive in towards Trinity Lane. We want to try to make sure that everybody is trying to figure out exactly where. There we are. The traffic is this morning as the traffic is moving along there, coming in from the north side. Madison, Hendersonville, Goodlettsville, moving along but slowly there this morning. We're going to continue to watch it for you.
All right, 8:05 right now, taking a look at some of our local headlines. We have community members calling for safer streets after 3 deadly crashes involving pedestrians over the weekend. 2 of those crashes were hit and runs, and police right now are still looking for the people responsible. So we are taking a closer look at this story with Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker joining us live in studio now.
Yeah, we are going to see a group of people that will be calling this a Nashville critical mass. Now, what they're going to do is they're going to ride just after 5 later today. they'll ride to city council doors because we do know that they have that meeting later today. Now, this is the city, this is the flyer that's circling on social media highlighting the dangers of our roads here in Nashville. It says the city has routinely failed to meet the needs of or protect its citizens. Now, I took these concerns to council member Sean Parker, who acknowledges the need for change. Parker says the city and the state needs to start moving more aggressively towards safer streets.
I feel like sometimes people think that all these lives lost is just the cost of doing business, and it's not. There are cities that don't have anywhere near this level of carnage and loss on their streets, and we can be one of those cities too if we are willing to make some changes and willing to make this a priority.
Now, 2022 was the deadliest year for pedestrian fatalities, with about 50 pedestrians and cyclists dying on our Nashville roads. City leaders believe that it is really stemming from a combination of lack of infrastructure as well as distracted drivers. Now, for that meetup tonight, this will be at Dudley Park, 5:15. They won't roll until 5:35. We hope to have our crews there, and we're going to have all of those details for you guys later tonight, especially for that 5:30 newscast that we have, as well as 9 and 10. For now, live in studio, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Kylie, thank you very much. Crisis in the classroom and Tennessee's education in the spotlight today as the 2024 State of Education in Tennessee report will be released. We have had an advanced look at it, and we have a live look right now over at the Tennessee State Museum, where they're going to announce the findings. Our photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey is out there right now. SCORE is the name of this report and the group, and they said in their most recent report that our state of college attendance is lower than ever, and we've made improvements since the pandemic, but still more work to be done. So we have had a look at this report. Justin and I are going to get you some Cliff Note versions on it in our next live update. So make sure you keep it here. We're going to take a look at test scores, proficiency, where children stand when it comes to public education coming up throughout our 8 o'clock hour.
Well, coming up, Metro Police are asking for millions of dollars for new tasers, but not everybody's in favor. There's some serious questions about the cost. I'll explain just a few.
Get down with an all-new
8:10 is the time. Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Let's take a quick look here at I-65 at Dickerson Pike there on the north side as you make that drive in. So far, things are typical for this time of the morning for you as you make that drive in from Madison, Goodlettsville, Hendersonville, places like that. This is 65 at Moore's Lane. Boy, things have cleared out nicely after some heavy fog moved through that area early on. Glad to see we're looking a lot better there on the south side. We'll continue to watch the roads here for you, let you know about any crashes that do pop up between now and 9. Well, Metro Police say they need 1,658 brand new tasers. And they can't just go to Amazon and find them. They have to come with the ability to have technical support and even upgrades, a lot like your cell phone. And that can get expensive. How expensive, you may ask? Well, let's try $24 million. So what's the breakdown on that? Here's a Metro councilman who's done the math.
So if I've done the math right, which I don't always do, but 1,658 tasers at $24 million is roughly $14,500 per taser.
I'm not sure that would be the right math.
Because this is a mixture of essentially hardware and software, so products and services, we price this out on a per user basis. So the current agreement right now is priced out at $70 per user per month. The difference in cost for the amendment would actually increase that to $91.88 a month.
So it depends on how you look at it. So yeah, it is $14,000 per taser, but then again, it's $91.88 per user per month over the course of 10 years. Metro Police say they need the updates because the new tasers are way more effective than the current ones.
8:12, your time. Look at your COVID forecast. The big story that Justin and I have been covering back to back the entire morning when it comes to weather and traffic is the fog that we have had out there. And just because you're not shaded in the reds and oranges does not mean you have not worked through it this morning and that you're not continuing to work through it. Taking a look, Dickson, up through Gallatin, Portland, and Tompkinsville, we have the fog that has moved in overnight and it will be gone by the afternoon, so we're not completely in a bad place. But taking a look here, the bottom line, we got to worry about a couple of things that could happen. No, not necessarily worry in a bad way, but just be aware of timing and impacts of rain and the possibility of snowflakes that will move in going Saturday into Sunday. We'll track those for you in a few. Right now, Justin's getting you up and out the door in a little bit.
Let's talk Titans football. The Titans no longer have their special teams coach. We're going to tell you about the plays that led to his removal coming up in just a few.
Get away with a great deal at the...
Welcome back to Fox 17 News. This morning it is 8:15 right now. And last month was reportedly the warmest November on record. Some scientists have said that this year's warmth is the result of El Nino, which we've talked a little bit about here the last month or so.
Yes.
So that El Nino weather pattern, plus those same scientists say human-caused climate change.
So let's bring in our weather experts, co-red meteorologist Greg Bovis, who's here with us right now. And Greg, I know this is something you watch very, very carefully here, but we're also watching the weather as well.
Yeah, I mean, we watch today, we watch tomorrow, we watch long term. That's kind of the whole goal of what we're going to do for you here. And yeah, we've been hearing these reports, though, for years. Think back, how many times have you heard warmest summer, warmest winter, warmest month? We're on that trend that is going up. We're watching the radar for you here this morning. I'll give you a look at that in a couple of minutes. We're warming up a little bit later. Now, when I say later, I put 3 dots there for a reason. What does the ... mean whenever you see it? It means we're not quite there yet. And there'll be a few storms, and I have no camera. That's okay. We'll make it work. This is what we do here on an Idle Tuesday. Waking up here. Thank you for waking up with us, by the way. We love having you here. And whenever we see you in public, you guys make our day. 48 degrees tomorrow. Today, we're going to be in the 50s. Right side of your screen, we have current temperatures that are in the 30s and 40s. We are on our way to 58 degrees for Thursday, 64 degrees on Friday. Temperatures do get a little bit warmer going into the upcoming weekend. We'll also bring in the chance for some rain on Saturday into Sunday. I did mention the bottom line that in the Cumberland Plateau there could be a few snowflakes in the forecast. Keep that in mind. Let's get you to your 7-day forecast. You can see maybe a couple of showers later on today, as we've mentioned, and then we do turn it much cooler going into later on tomorrow, and then the weekend does give us that little surge of warmth before we cool back down next week once again.
Steer clear traffic at 8:17. Quick look outside. Going to take us over to I-24 and I-440. T-Dot on the scene of a crash there involving a couple of cars in the middle of the fog out there this morning as it now has made its way over to South Nashville. So please give yourself extra stopping distance. Also a tough day to be on the side of the road in the middle of foggy conditions like this. So please give them some extra room as well as they continue to work to clear that up. This is 65 at the north side on Trinity Lane. Typical traffic for this time of the day. You can use Ellington Parkway as a good way to try and steer clear, but continue to watch things out there on you, for you on the road. Well, 2 plays really. That's what led to the removal of a Titans assistant coach and their big loss to the Indianapolis Colts. Head coach Mike Vrabel announced that they have fired special teams coach Craig Ackerman. It is the first time that Mike Vrabel has ever fired a coach in the middle of the season. Now, Ackerman has been in charge of the special teams since Mike Vrabel took over the team back in 2018. And the news does get worse for the Titans. They have lost their Pro Bowl punter, Ryan Stonehouse, for the rest of the season. Coach Vrabel announced just yesterday that he will be gone for the season because he's going to have surgery. As a matter of fact, Stonehouse even tweeted out just yesterday, "This is just the beginning of the next chapter, and I'll be back." Scott Couch tells us more.
The Titans were trying to do something they hadn't done all year, win back-to-back games, and they jumped out to a 17-7 lead. Then the wheels fell off with two special teams meltdowns in which the Colts blocked a Ryan Stonehouse punt leading to a touchdown. Then the Colts force a fumble on Stonehouse' next punt, knocking him out for the season.
Stoney's going to have surgery and get fixed and come back stronger than ever and ready to go. So certainly don't want to lose players, and that's unfortunate.
Those failures led to the firing of special teams coach Craig Aukerman. Head coach Mike Vrabel decided it was time to make a change.
I want to thank Craig for what he's done for us, certainly in the time that I've been here. But felt like this was the best thing for the team and for the players moving forward. Most importantly, the players.
The Titans are now also looking for a punter who can hold on extra points. Coach Vrabel was asked if former Titans punter Brett Kern, who retired back in June, is an option. Vrabel gave every indication the door's open. As for special teams, Vrabel tapped veteran assistant special teams coach Tom Quinn to take over. Quinn has 32 years of coaching experience, 16 in the NFL.
He's a great teacher, and so hopefully, we'll be able to, continue the stuff that we've done well, and hopefully, eliminate those mistakes that cost you.
All right, so Fox 17 News wanted to know what you think about all this. Do you feel like Coach Vrabel deserves another season with the Titans? Of course, a lot of chatter on social media about that. So right now, our open live poll has 57% of you saying yes, you think he should get another season with the Titans. You can cast your vote right now by either scanning the QR code that's right there on your screen or by heading to twitter.com and search up our handle, which is @FoxNashville.
Well, up next on Fox 17 News this morning, one man is facing homicide charges after the death of his longtime girlfriend. We're going to tell you what investigators have revealed.
Do you think Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Operation Crime and Justice, a story that we covered months ago, is now getting answers. In September, Metro Police found the body of Ethel Kennedy in the back seat of a burned out car on Old Glen Rose Avenue at the I-24 overpass. Well, now 60-year-old Frankie Jones is facing homicide charges. Officers say that he killed Ethel Kennedy, put her in a car and set it on fire. Crews found her remains. Williamson County investigators out in Fairview picked up Frankie Lee Jones after a traffic stop. So he is now in custody and facing those charges. Now, if you want to read more about the backstory on this and any other stories that we've covered, you can head to fox17.com and you can search for this story right now to get those behind the scenes updates. And right now at 8:25, we've got a look at your forecast with our Code Red meteorologist, Greg Bogus.
Yeah, let's get you out the door the best way we can today. Taking a look here at your forecast, two big things will happen going into the weekend. So looking ahead, right now you're in the 30s, you're going to be cold. You're going to have temperatures that maybe get into the low 50s if you're lucky. But the weekend, a warm up, but storms are possible. One other word you can use in the forecast for what's possible is snow. The bottom line. This weekend, depending upon where you are at, you're either going to have rain and the potential of weak thunderstorms, or if you're in the Cumberland Plateau, you may have some snowflakes that are flying. We are way too early to be giving you the timing and the complete impacts, so stay tuned. We'll have you covered here, not just on air, but also on social media, online. We'll make sure you know what's coming your way. We're watching the radar. We're warming up later on this week, and then we will also take a look at the radar later today. There could be a shower or two for your Tuesday as we go into our 8:30 half hour.
All right, Greg, thank you very much. We think we might have found at least part of the reason that Vietnam Veterans Boulevard is so backed up this morning. We've got a crash or some kind of situation here on I-65, right where you get off of Vietnam Veterans Boulevard to come into Nashville. So we can see a dark colored Jeep up against the cement barrier there on the far left lane. We have TDOT, we have several police cars and another TDOT truck pulling up here right now. So this is causing a major backup both on I-65 all the way up toward Millersville, and then on Vietnam Veterans Boulevard, which is the bypass through Hendersonville, all the way back into Gallatin. So just wanted to let you know that that is the backup that we're seeing as a result. You know, Gallatin Pike has cleared up a good bit. So if you don't want to get stuck in this traffic on I-65 at Vietnam Vets, I would recommend jumping on Gallatin Pike to come on in. That traffic there has eased up significantly.
And coming up in a call to action for safer streets, the community will ride to city doors. They want change.
Need a little extra cash for the...
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Hey, good morning, everyone. We're waking up here. We had some fog this morning, slowed us down a little bit, but y'all were patient, and we got through it. The fog is lifting as we speak. We'll talk about how long the cold mornings will last until our next weather maker moves in.
Steer clear traffic this morning. Big accident happening on I-65 near Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. Boy, we've got a lot of cars and a lot of tow trucks in place. We're going to tell you more about this crash coming up in a few.
Be sure to keep an extra close eye on your belongings when you're out shopping. Local authorities say they need help to find a woman who is accused of robbing a 74-year-old at the grocery store. And it's not the first time either. We'll get you the background details and who police are looking for now.
All right, just after 8:30 here on your Tuesday morning. Thank you so much for starting it with us. I'm Justin McFarland.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We are your live local news source through 9 a.m. And the big story of the morning really has been the fog and the impact it's had on your morning drive. We're going to see where things are moving around right now with Code Red meteorologist Greg Bovis.
We mentioned the last hour that everything, once the sun came up, would get better and better with the fog. There are still some patches that are out there, but this is the best our visibility tracker has looked the entire morning. So areas like Dickson, Clarksville, Hopkinsville, even down toward Williamson County and up toward Tompkinsville, the fog is starting to finally lift a little bit here with the warming we're getting, even some sunshine in many areas to kick off the start of our day. So keep that in mind. We're going to look at your 7-day forecast. We're going to look at future track and attempt to get you up and out the door this afternoon. There could be a light sprinkle to the same areas that we saw the fog overnight into this morning. That's all coming your way in a few minutes. But right now, Justin, you've got something going on here in steer clear traffic that we're monitoring.
Steer clear traffic takes us to the north side. This is going to be I-65 at Vietnam Veterans Boulevard there. You can see a lot of TDOT trucks there, along with Metro Police. Multi-car crash that has been slowing things down as you make that drive down from both Vietnam Veterans Boulevard and I-65. It's at a tricky spot because it's right where the two meet, right there. So that merging of traffic is where this crash has happened. Multiple tow trucks there on the scene to try to get those cars out of the way. It would seem Goodlettsville Police are the ones handling this. Not a lot of Metro Police cars there, so Goodlettsville Police are the ones dealing with this. Slight slowdown there. You could try to use Gallatin Pike or Dickerson Pike is the best way to steer clear. Let's take you out to Bellevue. We're just dealing with the crash here at I-40 near Old Hickory Boulevard in the Bellevue area. Glad to see it has cleared out of the way, so we are smooth sailing coming in from the Bellevue area so far here this morning.
Right now at 8:33, crisis in the classroom. Tennessee's education in the spotlight today. The 2024 State of Education in Tennessee report card will be released, but we have had an advanced look. So as we take a live look right now at the Tennessee State Museum, where the collaborative will make their findings public later this morning, our photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey giving us the shot. I want to run with you just a couple of items that I'm noticing from this report. I've had a chance to get an advanced look at it, and one of the things that they've highlighted in this report says Tennessee is one of the few states exceeding pre-pandemic ELA proficiency levels, with ELA proficiency rates for all students in grades 3 through 8 almost 3 percentage points higher than in 2019. You know, here in Tennessee, we had that new law that was enacted that requires third graders who cannot pass that ELA portion of the standardized testing to either go through tutoring, retake the test, or have to repeat the 3rd grade.
Yes. But they do have some long-term findings here that they are recommending that people do, and that includes prioritize the use of long-term data to try and drive student outcomes, also enhance the Tennessee Promise Scholarship and community college student experience that is out there as well.
Yeah, really trying to make sure that we get kids out of high school and into college any way, shape, or form. So we're going to be here this morning as they make those official announcements. Just wanted to give you a sneak peek there, and we'll be there for you live as it happens.
Well, new this morning, the community is calling for safer streets, and with good reason. It comes after 3 fatal pedestrian crashes happened over the weekend. 2 of those were hit-and-run cases.
Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker joining us live in studio now before the city leaders meet later today.
Year after year, dozens of people and cyclists are getting killed on our roads here in Nashville, and several times in the past few years, we keep having to say this was the deadliest year for pedestrians, as that number just keeps going up and up. Walk Bike Nashville says we could see those similar trends again. We're on pace for that this year. This is why later today the community will gather at Dudley Park at 5:15 before they ride over as a collective group to council doors. They say that the city continues to fail in protecting its people. So we took these concerns to Councilmember Sean Parker, who says that this all stems from a number of issues.
In some areas, you say narrow sidewalks. In some areas, there aren't even sidewalks. You go look on Dickerson Pike, north of Douglas Avenue, and there's people walking, 18 inches from the roadway up against a fence, to get to their job or to get to the bus stop or to get to the grocery store. That's tremendously dangerous. Lack of safe crossings is tremendously dangerous.
Now, Parker says we know the engineering solutions to fix some of these problems. He says the city and the state just need to work aggressively to enact change in a timely manner because, as we know, every single day counts. Now, 2022 was the deadliest year for pedestrian fatalities, with nearly 50 pedestrians and cyclists dying in Nashville. Walk Bike Nashville says that, as I mentioned, trends this year indicate more of the same. For now, live in studio, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Kylie, thank you very much. Metro Police right now looking for a woman who they say stole a senior citizen's wallet while she was shopping at the grocery store.
This is just awful.
It is, but the good news is we got really good pictures.
They do. Detectives say the suspect took a 74-year-old woman's wallet inside of the Kroger on Gallatin Pike, then used what was inside of that wallet to buy $1,500 worth of gift cards. Police say that same woman is suspected of committing a similar crime back in 2022 at the Nolensville Pike Kroger. If you know anything about this, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers.
And if you're looking to buy a new home right now, or perhaps rent an apartment, now could be a great time to get moving on it. We will show you some of the deals that especially these apartment complexes are offering to try to get you in the door. Could be to your benefit.
He had his gun on his hip.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. It is 8:40. Steer clear traffic time right now, monitoring this crash on I-65 at Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. We can see several cars involved in a crash here, all off to the right shoulder now, which is the good news. It looks like a Jeep or maybe a Bronco on the back of that tow truck right now. Lots of police activity. This is slowing up traffic on I-65 up toward Millersville and on Vietnam Veterans Boulevard out toward, almost toward Gallatin. Okay, so a big backup. I will tell you the best detour right now looks to be either Long Hollow Pike, because all the kids are in school along Long Hollow, so you don't have to worry about school traffic, or you could take Gallatin Pike to come on in to get around it.
News from the economy this morning. There are brand new incentives to get people to rent here in Nashville. Zillow is reporting that supply of the units in Music City is now exceeding the demand, which means technically it's a renter's market. Now, while the rent is staying fairly high and pretty much the same, companies are now offering incentives to stand out in the market. So in other words, the rent prices aren't necessarily coming down, but they are giving you some freebies. For instance, they're offering 2 or 3 months free rent or discount when it comes to parking for certain neighborhoods and areas. The average rent, by the way, in Nashville is around $1,900 a month. So if you pay below that, consider yourself lucky.
All All right, Justin, thank you. 8:41 right now. We get a check of the weather. Our code red threat level is in the all clear right now. Yes, we do have the chance for some storms moving in throughout the course of the week, but nothing that would put us in a code red alert level. So we've got the all clear. And again, tracking weekend storms and the possibility, yes, for a little bit of snow. Don't get too excited if you love it. All right. We're not talking about anything that's going to cause travel problems, just perhaps a few snowflakes in certain areas. So Greg will take a closer look at that in minutes.
Well, could a later school start time make a big difference when it comes to protecting our children?
Still to come, we're going to take a look at some of your reaction on our social media pages.
I'm Corey.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning, giving you a live look over at First Horizon Ballpark, getting harder and harder to see by the month, being swallowed by development around
a dome before you know it.
Yeah, around the outfield. But it's their home of our AAA baseball team, the Nashville Sounds, and baseball front and center in Nashville now for a couple reasons. Still a lot of talk about the possibility of a major league team coming here.
Yes.
The Nashville Stars is the group that's behind that. And then we've got the winter meetings happening right now at Gaylord Opryland.
Yes, GMs, general managers from around Major League Baseball are meeting over at Opryland. There's a lot of chatter about where the superstar of baseball, Shohei Ohtani, could end up going. Lots and lots of talk about that. Maybe the Braves, I've heard they're a dark horse, maybe. Never know. But those conversations are all going all week.
Yeah, I mean, that's the really neat thing about Nashville. We're like the epicenter right now of all those big deals that are moving and shaking behind the scenes in Major League Baseball. So we'll be there. Jill Jelnick is heading out throughout the course of the week. She'll be in the meetings and giving us updates in her sports reports.
And now getting an update here at 8:45 when it comes to your Fox 17 Code Red weather. We have nothing to worry about now that we're getting through all of this fog. We'll get a little bit better when it comes to sunshine. Have the sunglasses ready to go. You don't need the umbrella today. You don't need it tomorrow. You don't need it Thursday. You don't need it Friday. That said, when I say you don't need the umbrella, you might feel a raindrop later on this afternoon for about 5 minutes. That is it. But it's not one of those days to cancel plans. It'll be done late in the afternoon. Saturday into Sunday is the real good chance for some rain. And the way this weather maker is set up, moving in, it's keeping all the substantial moisture way to our north. What do I mean by that? They're getting snow, ice, and they're getting rain in portions of Ohio, Indiana, and Illinois right now. That's not moving in our direction. We might get a quick little pop-up, like I said, sprinkle this afternoon. That'll be it for the rest of the week. And here it is on Future Track. It's actually even looking a little less likely for the majority of us. If you are south of I-65 and you are west of I-65 and south of I-40, your chance for rain is almost zero going into the afternoon. Take a look. Let's connect. You can always do that on Facebook. You can do it on Twitter. You can do it anywhere that you have a social media account. All you got to do is just search our names, and we'd love to hear from you. If you have any questions, you have any travel plans going into the upcoming weeks for the holidays, we'll help you out. 54 later on this afternoon, 48 degrees tomorrow, and then 50s into the 60s Thursday into Friday and Saturday. Saturday, there is a chance for a few thunderstorms in the Nashville area. Severe weather threat, not a big deal. However, if you're in the Cumberland Plateau with how this moves in timing-wise, you could see a few snowflakes. I stress a few snowflakes flying late in the day on Saturday in our upper elevations.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get out and about. This is going to be I-65 and Vietnam Veterans Boulevard as you make that drive out there on the north side. As you can see, Metro Police, actually Goodlettsville Police in this case, on the scene with leftovers of a crash there on the shoulder at 65 near Vietnam Vets. Starting to clear up in this location. You can still try to take Dickerson Pike. It's the best way to steer clear. Lots of stop and go there on Dickerson, but you can still do it if you would like. Things have cleared out nicely on 24 Waldron Road, making that drive in from Laverne and Murfreesboro and Smyrna, doing really nicely out there. A lot of the fog is also lifted in many of our cameras so far. You may find a spot here or there, but no longer the problem that we were seeing much earlier in the morning. Fox 17 News follow-up for you this morning as a transition home for children in the foster care system is now going to be opening up in Clarksville. It's called Kahana's House. It is a DCS case worker and trained volunteers will be staff and will be working in and around that home to ensure that the house is stable. A stable environment for children is set to open up coming up on December the 14th. We have done stories in the past about how Clarksville, Montgomery County is short when it comes to the amount of foster care homes in that particular community.
Crisis in the classroom now. The debate continues over school start times in Metro Nashville public schools. Davidson County, as it turns out, has one of the earliest start times in the mid-state, with classes for some kids and teachers starting at 7:05. Other school start times are 30 minutes to even an hour later, which some parents say can make all the difference for the kids. So let's take a look at what you have to say about this topic over on our Facebook page. Had a lot of comments so far. We asked, are you in favor or against Metro schools starting at a later time? Let's take a look at some of your reactions. Let's see, Kristen Rodriguez right here says in favor of and shorter days in general. Stephen Shustock said, how about stop daylight saving? Well, that's a whole that's a whole nother can of worms, but we hear you, Stephen. Jennifer Bratcher says, put the cell phones down at night and go to bed early. LOL, it's that simple. I can understand that too. I will say, if kids had more restrictions on that screen time, they may not be quite as tired in the morning. Just throwing that out there as a factor. And then Jose Palomino says in favor of the later start time. So still an opportunity for you to sound off. Head on over to our Fox Nashville Facebook page and let us know what you think.
Tennessee Tech University just made a big hire for their football program. They've hired a brand new head coach. It turns out that Bobby Wilder will be the Golden Eagles' next head coach. Wilder previously coached at Old Dominion University. He says he's excited by the pride and the passion of his brand new team and players that he's got there. So good luck to the coach out there in Cookeville. By the way, he was at Old Dominion for a number of years. He took the program over from nothing. The program was dormant when he took it over, and he has brought it back to prominence and taken it to postseason play a few times.
Looking ahead now to the weekend and another big one for college basketball right here on Fox 17. We've got a pretty good lineup for you. Purdue is going to play Alabama Saturday at 10:30 a.m. So if you want to get up, have some breakfast, and watch some hoops, you can check that out. And then we have a 6 p.m. game where UCLA will play Villanova, followed by Notre Dame at Marquette at 8.
Then if you're in the mood for some football, reminder the Titans play Monday night. So your afternoon football fix can come right here on Fox 17 as the Seattle Seahawks take on the San Francisco 49ers. Coverage begins at 3 p.m.
One person is dead after a hit-and-run crash in Nashville, but sadly, it's not the only deadly crash involving pedestrians over the last few days. We're going to get an update from Metro Police in minutes.
Plus, Greg Bulbus will have one last look at your forecast as the fog finally pushes out of the mid-state. But what's next? He's got answers when we come back.
Get away with a great deal at
Here is a recap of our top stories this morning, and there are a few to get to. It was a deadly weekend for pedestrians here across Metro Nashville as 3 different crashes saw 3 different lives, unfortunately, and a couple of those crashes happened on Saturday night.
Yeah, and 2 of them were hit and runs where police are still actively looking for the people responsible. And then we had, just so that you're aware, a 61-year-old man who died crossing East Thompson Lane, a 70-year-old man who died crossing D.B. Todd Jr. Boulevard. Again, both of those deadly, and one of those was a hit and run.
Yeah, then a 3rd man died on Sunday after another hit and run happened. This one was on Dolansville Pike. All of these are still under investigation right now. They're asking anyone with information to step forward and call police.
Operation Holiday Surprise leads to drug indictments, arrests in Henderson County, Tennessee, which is almost 2 hours west of Nashville. This was led by the Drug Investigation Division of the TBI and the Henderson County Sheriff's Office. Started back in February of last year.
Yeah, they've been at it for a while.
Yeah, they have. The roundup led police to find all kinds of drugs, paraphernalia, a car involved, a lot of cash, and several arrests. So again, that's in Henderson County, Tennessee. 14 people now in custody. This is still, by the way, an active investigation.
Well, let's take you to Stewart County. Listen to this. Authorities out there, this is just north and west of Nashville, not too far away from Montgomery County next door. They've uncovered what they're calling the largest marijuana grow operation in the county's history. It has followed a 3-week investigation, which included gathering information from neighbors as well as traffic stops. This comes after the TBI, you can see the cross there on the barn. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation executed a search warrant in a former church. That's where they found around 2,000 marijuana plants, plus an elaborate growing and water system.
Wow.
All on timers, and a large possible toxic chemicals for the grow operation as well. So far, at least one person taken into custody. Authorities are in the process of cleaning up that large site.
Wow.
What a story.
Yeah. During rescue in Murray County, first responders have to climb down a 15-foot embankment to free 2 people after a crash. This was on Pulaski Highway, and you're looking at some of the pictures behind us of that rescue. They had to cut out trees and limbs to get to the people who were trapped. THP investigating what turned out to be a 3-car crash.
Greg Bobus taking a look at the forecast.
That we are. And one way you can get the forecast when you're on the go is by going to the Fox 17 Code Red Weather app. You can go to the App Store. Every morning I will always show you how to scan the QR code to make sure that you are good. You have the radar, the hour-by-hour forecast, and the 7-day to make sure that you start your day and you end your day the right way.
All right, Greg, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News this morning. America Steals and Deals right now.